Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only podcast where, you know what, we've all had a long week. It's been a rough week for a lot of people. So it's, we're all here to come together where we're two equals. We're all equal here, and we're all, coming together to have some levity, some fun, some wrestling discussion between two U.S. sanctioned women talking about professional wrestling here. So I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, and with you, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing on this fine Sunday morning?
I don't know how to follow that up. I had no idea where we were going with that. I'm doing great. Doing great. I had a good week. I know. It's shocking. A lot of people didn't have a good week.
Yeah, you were celebrating. I think you were celebrating all week long, if I'm not mistaken.
Whoa. Whoa. Hold on. Hold on. I don't like
Whoa.
It was a long week.
Your birthday, Scotty. You're celebrating your birthday, of course, all week long.
The moment my birthday's over, I move on.
Yeah.
Couldn't want to celebrate something less than my own birthday. But I'm doing well. I'm really liking wrestling right now. It's funny. I didn't watch any WWE or AEW this week. It's fascinating how that goes. To be fair, not on purpose. I did watch WWE last night, because I had to for the show because I'm a company man.
He says knowing that he could not I could not get Scotty to convince him to watch GCW.
No. There's limits.
I'm a company man, knowing that we have topics that he will not be able to talk about.
That is arguably harassment. That just you hate me type harassment. Like you want me to suffer for 6 hours. You suffered for 6 hours. I got texts throughout the week. Still watching GCW.
Back on my grind.
It's not better. Still watching GCW. I want to cry.
I think it'd be
Still watching GCW. And it ended with, "This is just sad."
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to that review.
No wonder why your week was bad.
It wasn't because of I'll tell you that much. It wasn't because of GCW. I'll tell you that much for sure.
It didn't help.
Yeah, that's accurate.
People watch wrestling to clear their mind, and you happen to watch,
well, it was nice to be upset about something else this week. I guess in that sense, Scotty, you were right. In that sense, I think you're correct. But yeah,
it was nice to be upset about something else. But I'm doing great.
That's good. That's good. It's great to hear.
I have no complaints. And I'm excited for this conversation. We have a lot to talk about today. So much to talk about today. I'm kind of terrified how much we have to talk about today. But we're here. We are locked in. A lot of new stuff. Like a lot of new stuff for us here on the show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shut up now so we can move on.
We have a lot to discuss today. A lot of reviews coming at you live on Ring Post Radio this episode. We're going to discuss, of course, Saturday night's main event that took place last night. We're going to talk about the aforementioned GCW Hammerstein 2 show, TNA Genesis, Deadlock Pro had their show. They uploaded that a little bit early, so that was nice. But they also have a show tonight that we'll preview. DRAGONGATE, Gate of Bayside took place Saturday morning. So we'll discuss and review that as well. And of course, we're going to be previewing the Royal Rumble. And of course, giving you our Royal Rumble predictions.
Preview of the year.
Biggest preview of the year for sure. So a lot of fun episode today. A lot of wrestling discussed, a lot of reviews coming at you live, and a little bit of previews as well.
I like to say, if you're looking to clear your mind for 2 hours and more most of the time, this is the best place to listen, because listen, we honestly have no idea where we have a plan, but how we get to the plan and how we go through the plan, it's very hectic. I've never planned anything for this show. We just kind of go. I even was ahead of schedule last week. I was like, oh, let me write everything down so I know. And then Thursday came around. I was like, hey, what am I supposed to be watching?
The problem, the problem that we have is that we'll
it gets lost.
Yeah, And I guess we need to learn how to pin things because we can pin things and it won't delete itself on Slack. Well, it disappears if it goes too old. I don't think a week will be an issue for us.
Good point.
Look, I'm not paying for the paid version of Slack where you can have like entire history of messages, and that's where we will have have better things. But yeah, I think we just got to pin those topics, write them up at the end of the day, and then pin them. That's what we got to do. But anyways, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here today. I hope you are all ready to join us. Let's start off. I mean, part of me wants.
Do you want to start?
Part of me wants to start off with the Royal Rumble since that's the big headliner here, but I think there's even bigger headline that we got to talk about, a big news headline that we have to talk about, Scotty, this week. The biggest news item of the week, and that is, of course, Omos is getting pulled out from Noah, going back to the WWE, losing the tag titles, not even losing them, giving a belt to Daga.
There you go, bud.
He started to get over in Noah in Japan, and he got pulled immediately. Yeah, a little bit of a goof him up to knowing that our audience is going to enjoy us talking about Omos and Noah. But I do want to know what your thoughts on that, Scotty, are. That
I was
what do you think about Omos leaving Noah, giving the belt to Daga, and hey, hold on. All of a sudden, I think I have a new person to write in on a Royal Rumble prediction. Give me 1 second. But what do you think about Omos leaving Noah already?
I was upset. I wasn't shocked. I was just upset. It's one of those, like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I really am. That's exactly how I feel when it comes to Omos. Like, oh, this guy got to go enjoy life, have a great time, was having a great time, and they said, what if we ruined that? What if we brought you back to put you in the Royal Rumble and then not do anything with you? Huh? How does that sound? And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Do you think Omos has a WrestleMania plan right now?
No. This roster's too big for him to have a WrestleMania plan. No. You know what he's going to do? He's going to be out there so that Jacob Fatu can eliminate him. That's what he's there for. 1,000%. After last night, like, he's going to come in like 29th or something. And like, then Jacob Fatu's just going to eliminate him all by himself. And it's going to be, I'm so sad for Omos. I thought he was actually doing well. And no, I'm sad for Noah as well, but they'll be fine. Though it is very funny that he pinned Kaito Kiyomiya and then said, I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah. Not only pinned Kaito Kiyomiya, but successfully defended his tag title by pinning Kaito Kiyomiya.
Could have just pivoted.
They could have pinned Galeno Del Mal. He's right there. But I get it. He has a title challenge.
So if we want to keep it kayfabe, maybe he just didn't tell them. Maybe he just like got on the phone like right before his match and like, yeah, you're coming back, buddy. And he's like, all right. I'll tell them after the match. Yeah. I like that idea better. I think that's funnier. The ultimate politicker, almost.
Only there for 25 days, basically. And
what a 25 days it was.
7 matches, gets pulled to, I guess, work the Rumble. So strap in, folks, for more.
He said he'd come back. I hope he does. It would be very. Here's the thing, right? If he was only doing the Rumble, he could have just went back after.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, they have to have something planned for Omos.
Surely, awesome.
Surely they have something planned for Omos, right?
Right? The best world. He should face Obafemi.
Yeah.
Like, that's legitimately what they should do with him.
Yeah.
Just go face Obafemi.
That would be good.
That would be cool. I mean, the match doesn't need to be good. You just got to put those two guys in the ring. It's like, all right, we're sold, Yeah. Maybe that's what he should do. Fuck the Rumble. Well, he can do the Rumble too, but
bring him back for the Rumble and shuftle him off to NXT immediately.
Because NXT's like dire when it comes to the men's division. Like, people talk about this all the time.
And it feels like that's what he does. It feels like they're about to bring up Trick Williams and
Omos versus Obafemi. Noah versus Noah in a dream world.
Yoshiki Inamura versus Omos, a Noah dream match.
That would be a squash to get Omos over.
Noah'd be like, fine by us. I guess he could join that faction.
We had to beat Kaito. What do we care?
Almost Yoshiki Inamura and Josh Briggs. What a faction.
Can we replace Josh Briggs with like Tavion Heights?
Well, Tavion Heights
that'd be all Noah.
Well, that's the thing.
It's Team Noah.
It's no quarter catch crew versus Team 2000 NXT. So you have Tavion Heights, Charlie Dempsey, and Miles Bourne. I think the Miles Bourne,
the Randy Orton guy.
Yeah, and almost Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. That it writes itself, Scotty. Shawn Michaels is a chef. Let him cook, Scotty.
Josh Briggs is the Team 2000 NXT's version of Yoshitatsu. Continue. Continue. Don't question it. Just move forward.
Fair enough. Fair. He comes out.
This is what I told you guys.
Have face paint with a bat.
I told you guys 10 minutes ago. This podcast is about folks.
Scotty, they could bring back Yoshitatsu for NXT. Why not? Why not? The audience already knows who Yoshitatsu. Well, I don't know if the audience knows who Yoshitatsu is.
The audience already knows who Yoshitatsu. There's no way this audience knows who Yoshitatsu is.
But if Omos comes back and Yoshitatsu is standing right next to him, oh no. They could easily.
No one might actually win out of this if that happens.
Scotty, you and I were here thinking that, oh no, they might have a look at Jack Morris of this Omos tag team. No. They were looking at Yoshitatsu this entire time.
Oh dear.
Oh, the former Gaora TV champion for a century, it feels like.
The Bullet Club Killer or Hunter or whatever.
Bullet Club Hunter Yoshitatsu. Oh man.
And Billy Gunn.
Yeah, that's how you do. That's fuck. Jesus Christ. All right. We have to move on. Team
2000 NXT. Hanging in the rafters.
This is typically a 3rd hour bit where we just get delusional about various things, and I like to see.
It's been a week for Ryan.
It's been a week. All right.
Let's for wrestling too, by the way. We're not going to talk about it, but
yeah. Well, let's start off with Saturday night's main event first, I guess, and then we'll move into the Rumble. Just sort of the chronology.
Let's get all the fun stuff out of the way.
Do you want to start? Well, I figured
the E-drone.
I figured we would. There's more fun. Maybe the fun. Do you want to start off with GCW Hammerstein 2? We can.
Yeah, I want to get that out of the way so badly. Like,
I don't want
to talk about this thing.
I don't think the producing aspect of the show. I don't think our audience would appreciate a starting.
Nah, people over there. What's up?
Yeah.
If you feel me, say GCW.
Saturday night's main event, of course, took place last night. San Antonio, Texas. Frost.
I thought you were doing GCW.
No, we're not doing GCW first, Scotty.
I think that's what we. To be fair, we did Team 2000 NXT first.
That is true.
Everything's downhill from there.
Yes. What other podcast is starting with Team 2000 NXT? Name one. WWE Saturday night's main event took place last night. San Antonio, Texas, in the Frost Bank. I can't speak. 16,406 in attendance. We'll go over the card here, of course, but overall,
if you haven't heard, WWE is super hot right now.
Yeah. Did they say it was sold out? I don't remember.
Of course they said it was sold out.
Oh, yeah, that's probably accurate. Was it the largest gate in San Antonio, Texas history or something like that?
I think it was.
I said it like a joke, knowing that that's probably what it actually was. The largest gate in the history. Well, they had a WrestleMania or something there, right?
They make a lot of money.
Anyways.
No, I don't think it was actually. Whatever, who cares?
So I thought overall another pretty good show. I don't know if I liked it as much as the first Saturday night's main event.
I did. I liked it better.
You like this one more? Or why do you like this one more?
There wasn't as many matches, so I felt things breathed just a little more. And then they also had a promo segment.
Yeah.
Which was good.
Break it up a little bit.
I feel like Saturday night's main event should have a promo segment. I thought this did a better job at getting the wrestling over than the last show. They're both very easy to watch. Like, I'll give them that. Like, these shows are just like, you turn on, all right, it's over 2 hours. Doesn't really feel like 2 hours, which is good. I wish there was a way to avoid the commercial stuff, because I think there's some like very good matches that could probably be great if you could just see the full thing. But yeah, I thought this was an overall well done show, especially as like a precursor to the Rumble. Feels like they accomplished all the things they needed to accomplish before that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they did a good job, because that was a concern that we had regarding Saturday Night's Main Event, being a week before the Rumble, last time
Right.
they had the show, is that we had concerns about, is this going to be uh not detrimental wasn't the word, but sort of like a taking away for the Rumble
Yeah.
or being overshadowed more likely by the Royal
Right.
Rumble. And I think they did a good job as this sort of being a sort of an unofficial night one of the
Yeah.
Rumble.
Mhm.
I think if you look at it that way, I think they did a good job, and not just like a night one, but sort of like a preview show in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Obviously, mainly due to that segment of Cody and Kevin Owens. But yeah, I think they did a good job in that regard, setting stuff up, setting people up. And yeah, I think overall it was a solid show. We'll see how it does in the ratings. I don't think it will do as good, obviously,
No.
just because it's the second one, but we'll sort of see how it
Second
goes
one, they didn't really load it.
Yeah, and they definitely did not load it up.
This was a big time wrestling fans show more than a like everything else.
Yeah, these Saturday Night's Main Events, they feel more wrestling focused, and they feel um like a breeze, like you said. They have the 2 hours obviously helps that compared to everything
Felt like
else
the
that WWE
opposite
does.
of the Netflix debut.
A little, 100%. They have I'm gonna get raked over the coals probably by somebody for this. They have a Dynamite-esque quality to them where it is like wrestling focused,
Sure.
a breezy 2 hours.
Hell, I'd even say a Collision focus.
Yeah, oh yeah, I agree with it. Well, Collision has like 5 more matches. But
This is true.
but it has that sort of quality to it where you have all these sort of things, have some promos, have maybe a big time in-ring segment.
Right. Which is funny because it feels like Saturday Night's Main Event is the show that people want promos and stuff because it's like the old fashioned way. But they're just like, nah, you get wrestling.
They ramped up the old quality of the show a lot more. They added the turnbuckles with the old WWE
I liked that
logo.
I really liked the entrance stage too, like the entrance walkway. I thought this was better than the last one.
Yeah,
because I liked the way they shot it and with like the security behind them.
Yeah,
I thought they did good with that. Overall, I thought it was like I said, a fun show. It's a show that you can miss.
Yeah,
Because I think that's kind of what these are supposed to be. It's like, oh, we're gonna put title matches on here. I don't blame them for not doing title changes on these shows because, like, one, it's a Saturday night, two, they're just getting paid extra money to do these. So it's like, here you go.
I think
you
I think there has to be. I don't necessarily. I mean, I think
they're
a big
better
issue.
they're better than Battle of the Belts or whatever.
But I was just about to say, I think they are currently obviously
their
better than
version
Battle
of it,
Belts.
though.
Yes, but I think they will easily start getting into the territory where Battle of the Belts never had a single title change. I think it had one in the history
For
of
sure.
its run. I think we will get that in this Saturday Night's Main Event at some point. It's just a matter of exactly when.
I guess technically they crowned the champion the first time, but
I'm not going to count that. I'm not counting that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, technically. I'm not going to get on a technicality. But yeah, I guess we'll get into the actual show here. Show opened up WWE Women's World Title match, Rhea Ripley defeating Nia Jax, 9 minutes and 22 seconds. Scotty, what do you think of the opener?
That was pretty good. Breezy. To the point. Simple. Rhea Ripley's really good. That's all I have to say. She's also unbelievably over, by the way. When her entrance music hit, like, I was like, man, you kind of could forget after all the Liv Morgan stuff that, like, this is just their most popular women's wrestler.
Yeah.
And probably top 5 overall in the company, honestly. I think out of everyone, it was her and Uso that probably had the biggest pops on the night. So, and Uso's just a fascinating case that I will continue to be confused about. But no, I thought her and Nia did good. I don't think there was nothing bad about it. It was direct to the point, exactly what you kind of want from a TV title defense, I think.
Yeah, it was nice and down the middle. I think for sure. I largely agree. I really don't have any big thoughts on it, and I think it's
I don't have
another.
a lot of big thoughts about most of the show. That it was a good, simple show. Like,
Yeah. Yes.
like there's nothing to take away from it that I was like, oh, this was dumb. Like, nope.
Yeah, I largely agree with that. I think if anything, if we're going to draw anything from this, another title defense on its way for Rhea Ripley, showcasing Nia Jax a little bit more following her losing the title to Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
And I sort
that
of
was fascinating not to do the rematch here for her and Tiffany instead. But that was a little weird. But you want the big star on the show. I get it.
Yeah, I agree. In that booking sense, it does make more sense. But I guess you could do that at the Rumble. We haven't announced that.
Well, Nia's in the Rumble, so I'm going to assume no.
I guess that's true. And I think if anything, this sort of just will help.
The
Nia
Rumble's
Jax
done, by the way. That card is not adding matches.
That's probably accurate.
Which is good, by the way, because I like that card.
Yeah, we'll talk about that card in a moment. WWE Intercontinental title match, Braun Breaker defeats Sheamus. I thought this was really good. I thought Braun Breaker...
That spear, man.
Obviously that spear to Sheamus on the outside looked gnarly as hell. I thought it was really good. I think Braun Breaker is definitely a guy that has successfully come into his own in the main roster by putting him with guys like Sheamus, these big muscle dudes. They're all beating each other up. The strong style of WWE is the sanitized version of the strong style idea. It's working. The Sheamus, not resurrection's not the word, but Sheamus, this new version of him rules. I love seeing Sheamus matches nowadays. Braun Breaker is really good.
This is the best match on the show. And it was one where I wished it was on pay-per-view so I could have saw it in full, because I think it had the potential to be great.
That's probably accurate. That is probably accurate. I can agree.
Still very good, though. Still very good. And that spear, I literally was like, why? Why would you do that? Like, that is... Because I think Braun still, like... I think he knows his speed more now, but at the same time, like, I don't know, you're cutting through that, man. Like, that was nasty. But I thought it was really well done. I think Braun Breaker's great. I think he's getting better and better and better. You're watching him grow through the Intercontinental title, which for a long time was the purpose of that title, and I think it's nice to kind of see that back. Jesse Ventura is a hilarious guy to have on commentary. He's so good, even though nothing he says makes sense.
What was he saying about the referee? It was like,
so the referee was going down, and as he got here, for the 3 count, he pulled up and said that was there, and Ventura was like, no, you didn't see that.
Yes,
count the 3. And I was like, that's great.
It is a perfect thing for Jesse Ventura to be saying, especially as the sort of heel commentator that he is. But it at the same time, it is also one of those things of well, he's got a great point. That is a little sloppy wrestling refereeing there. So he's right.
He is better than every color commentator in wrestling right now.
Yeah, we had this conversation.
And he doesn't know what's going on. He does. But here's the thing: he doesn't know what's going on. He gets years wrong, but it doesn't matter because he just gets it, And we did have this conversation last week. We're not doing the commentary conversation again.
Yeah, we did a bunch of it last week as well. But very good match. I think it was probably the strongest match of the night. Sheamus, I like to see more of Sheamus. I don't know how
he's gonna get that belt eventually.
Yeah, I think at this point it's just the continuation of that story of Sheamus going to get that belt. I don't know exactly when.
The old man Sheamus IC title run.
I would be down. How old is Sheamus? 46 years old. Jesus Christ. I would be 100% down.
He still looks the same.
I believe next was the segment with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. I believe that was this point. Led by Shawn Michaels of NXT fame, of NXT
Shawn Michaels is kind of a bitch. He was there. He was supposed to keep it controlled, and he was mean to Kevin.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Kevin was valid, man.
Out of nowhere, Shawn Michaels just being like, Yeah, I'm gonna be biased and and be partial here and say, I think you're just being jealous. Anyways, back to the contract signing. It's like, what the fuck, Sean? What are you talking about? But yeah, basically the segment was just the contract signing. I thought it was a good little promo segment, and then it just evolved into Shawn Michaels calling Kevin Owens a petty bitch. And
I was like, what the hell is this? Then he hit him with the super kick.
Little fighting, super kick from Shawn Michaels, and there we go. Yeah, I thought it was a successful segment. I really am enjoying this promo. We'll talk about it more when it comes to the Royal Rumble, but I'm really enjoying this. I think this is one of the better storylines, rivalries, I shall say. Not storylines, but rivalries in WWE specifically right now. We'll talk about it more, obviously, with the Rumble, but I thought this was successful. And if you want to be the conspiracy theorist guy, maybe this could be a fun WrestleMania match for Kevin Owens. Had a spin-off from this title loss at Royal Rumble. Shawn Michaels coming back out of retirement. I doubt it, but I think that's the fun conspiracy theorist idea.
I mean, it's a good guy to pick if you want a good match. He did it with Stone Cold.
Right?
It's not going to happen. But
that's not going to be happening.
It'd be kind of awesome if it did.
I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no. That'll happen. But I think they could be setting that seed here. I don't think they are, though. I think the only if I could say anything to it, I think the only way I could see it as the idea, the only argument I can make for it really is that, on Friday they made it clear that like Nick Aldis couldn't get this contract signed, and they had to bring in the big guns, NXT general manager, whatever, Shawn Michaels, to come in and get the contract signed, which is a little funny. So then it's like in storyline, why you didn't have to bring in Shawn Michaels,
right?
Other than the only reason I can think of bringing in Shawn Michaels is because you're doing a double title sort of situation in a ladder match. Harkens back to WrestleMania 10, obviously, of Razor Ramon.
That's absolutely what.
And I totally agree. I think that's exactly what it is. I also don't necessarily like that we're tying that into it, even though that's
they didn't bring it up, though, to be fair. So,
but the rivalry is so like old school territory rivalry coded. Obviously, Kevin being a big part of that. But then bring in like, okay, and now it's a ladder match for 2 belts, and Shawn Michaels is here, and now it's WrestleMania 10. And it's like, whoa, no, whoa.
They haven't brought up WrestleMania 10, so I'm not too worried about it. Like they haven't said anything about it,
Oh, but Michael Cole's getting those buzzwords all prepped and ready.
Oh, I'm sure. I think it's very funny that they're hanging a replica title high above the ring.
Well, it's something for the fans to aspire to.
Good point.
Next up, singles match, Braun Strowman is able to get the win by disqualification after he get his, I'll say his head Rey Mysterio'd by Jacob Fatu.
Is this a great Khali reference?
Oh, yes, it is.
When he used to crush his head.
Yeah. They've really put over these buns of steel of Jacob Fatu. I didn't think the match was all that great. I thought this match was completely fine. I was expecting more like Haas heavy wrestling, and instead it was just sort of like normal wrestling.
Yeah, they said we're going to do this again.
Yeah. It was normal wrestling to a certain extent. There's still big dudes doing all the stuff, but it was like that moment where it's like Braun Strowman. Remember a couple years ago, Braun Strowman and Big Show having a match, and instead of like wrestling like big old giants, they just wrestled like a normal wrestler technical match. He's doing kip ups out of a wrist lock. Braun Strowman's really interested in wrestling that style, probably because he was trained on that style, because that's what NXT is. But that's what they wanted to do here, and just be normal wrestlers. And it's like, no, be giants.
I think it got there by the end.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it did get there by the end, and obviously the buns of steel, Jacob Fatu, put that over even more. But it was just sort of a disappointment for me.
They made Jacob Fatu a babyface on accident.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't think they know what they just did. Like, this is dangerous.
The fear that they've had of, we're not sure about pushing Jacob Fatu yet, because I think he'll get more over than Solo Sikoa. The
Solo's gone.
The moment Solo is like not around as much right now, Jacob Fatu immediately gets pushed as a super over act.
Hard to blame him. that promo he cut, and then just like into the match, like the guy's he just gets it. I was watching, and I was like, I can't believe he was an MLW all those years.
Like, he was great. He was great in MLW too.
I know, but my point is like, how did no one else just think to take a shot?
Yeah,
like how?
AEW could have swooped in and taken him. Well, I don't know about any point. MLW had those contracts, so
they could have. They took MJF from MLW. They could have done whatever they wanted. I always thought they should have, because I said he can be the killer on the roster. He's the killer in WWE.
Yeah.
Well, he's great. So shout out to Jacob Fatu. I loved him just killing this poor guy. I was like, see, this is good. This is how you get a guy over. Not that Jacob Fatu needed help getting put over, but I felt like this was a great way to establish him as the killer that they want him to be. I was just like, they might have also made him a babyface, which I don't think was at all what they necessarily wanted. But I don't know, when he's speaking like that and he just has that presentation, it's hard to not root for him.
Yeah, I think
he's cooler than most people.
I think that's a big aspect of it. He is a charisma machine.
Yeah.
And he does cool moves. He has a great look, just like the spit and saliva on his beard as he's just like looking around.
Yeah.
Like a fucking Samoan werewolf. It is a great look, a great act, and a great charisma machine. This guy could easily be like a world champion in this company in a couple years.
I think he will be.
He's 32 years old. Holy shit. This guy should be a world champion at some point. It's just a matter of when and where.
I think he'll have the big gold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the big gold for sure.
I think he's beating Gunther or
whoever beats Gunther.
No, I think he's beating Gunther or Braun Breaker for one of those two belts.
That would be nice. I
feel like he's the type of guy that you can beat them and it doesn't hurt them. Right? And I think that's kind of what they're looking for one of those two. Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu. Dear God. Dear God. They might kill each other.
Yeah. I'm down for it. I'm down for it. And next up, the main event, WWE World Heavyweight Title match. Gunther defeats Jey Uso 16 minutes and 42 seconds. I thought this was another really good match. I like the Sheamus one and Braun Breaker one, obviously.
Yeah, I agree.
More. But I thought it was surprisingly good for what it was. I think it's on par.
Get out of Jey.
Yeah, I think it was the best you're going to get out of Jey. Not the best you'll get out of Gunther, obviously, but a good performance by Gunther. And on par with their previous singles matches that they've had. That I believe Jey has lost every single one.
As he should. It was a fine, good match. Couple apples, call it a day.
Yeah. Couple apples and a half. I think that's pretty accurate for Gunther.
Like, it's exactly what you expect these two to do. Like, this is what Jey Uso is. He's over. Crowd's hot for it.
How much longer do you think the steam on Jey Uso is going to last?
I don't know. It's not going anywhere. It just keeps going and going. And like, I don't know. Now people like Jimmy.
Yeah. He's the freaking Energizer Bunny over here.
People think Jimmy's actually wrestling better than Jey, which I was shocked by. Because it sounds like he puts in effort, I guess. So that probably helps. How long does Jey last? I don't know. I thought the IC title, then the loss would have ended that.
Yeah.
People think he's going to be world champion, and I think that is crazy.
He just, yeah, I don't think that's happening at all. I agree that I thought the IC title run was going to end it here. Being world champion, I don't see it at all. I think
want it.
Well, it's like I think once people sort of realize that the mid-card world is where it properly sits for Jey Uso. Yeah. The other problem is that he's always going to be like Roman Reigns' shadow. He's all these sort of
things. A good mid-carder.
He's a really solid mid-carder. And has a more over sustainable act than other mid-carders that have gimmick phrases like LA Knight, for example, right?
Oh yeah. I'd rather watch Jey Uso than LA Knight. Is that a hot take? I don't think so.
It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't. It has the sound of a hot take, but doesn't feel like a hot take. You know
yeah, when I said it, I was like, "It feels wrong."
I felt like I needed to react to it, and then I was like, "Wait, no." I think
wait a minute. No, that sounds pretty right.
Yeah, but I think it's just a matter of I don't really know. I think the only next thing you could do with Jey Uso is a tag title run, but like that's with Jimmy, and that's obviously what we've been sort of doing with
They
this
definitely
guy.
want the Usos versus New Day in current form. That would actually be really good.
I sort of agree. I can sort of see that.
Because they're super over as heels and they're super over as baby faces. And it hasn't happened in forever.
Who are the freaking Raw tag team champions?
The War Raiders. We're definitely going to lose to the New Day.
Yeah, that is true. At WrestleMania or before WrestleMania? Got to be before WrestleMania.
Buddy, that is not happening at WrestleMania.
I agree. It feels like WrestleMania should be the Usos versus.
Do you know that this Royal Rumble tag title match is the first time the tag belts have been defended on a big WWE pay-per-view since WrestleMania 40?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And WrestleMania 40 was the multi-man tag ladder match, right?
No, WrestleMania 40 was the main event. Usos.
Oh, yeah.
Sammy and Kevin.
41 is what I'm thinking of.
Yes.
But that was, I guess, wasn't like I was gonna say singles tag, singles sort of thing. That was a multi-man ladder.
That wasn't. Yeah. Somewhat. Yeah. What? Sure. All right. Move on.
Anyways, moving on. WWE Saturday Night's main event. We have no idea when the next one is going to be.
That's okay.
I believe, if I recall correctly, these are supposed to be quarterly, and they had one.
They shoved one in at the end of last year.
So we had one in December of last year. We obviously had one already in January. If it is to be believed,
April?
maybe April. That maybe feels
week
too
before
close.
WrestleMania.
That feels too close to WrestleMania in my book. I would be scared of running that show. But I guess you could do it in April, May. Seems like
I think you do. I think if you do it in April, you should do a bunch of WrestleMania preview like tags.
I would probably agree with that. I would probably agree with that. I think they announced when Backlash is, right? That's in May. Let's see, because I think they just announced it, or they announced the location of it. Maybe they just have not announced the date yet. Sorry, I'm just going to quickly go through this. No, we don't have a date yet for Backlash. But yeah, May maybe makes more sense for me. Do it a week before Backlash or something. We'll see. Right around WrestleMania seems too crowded for what they want to do, and that thing might actually take away from WrestleMania, if anything, because you also have to remember we got 2 nights here. Anyways, let's talk about the Royal Rumble. Oh boy, Royal Rumble preview. This is our big preview of the year. Every year, if you do not know, Scotty,
feel the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure is on for both of us. Scotty, can
mostly
you explain?
You.
Mostly me. I think I've lost every single year. Scotty, can you explain to the kind folks at home what we're doing today?
Yes. So every year we do a like pick'em type superlatives thing for the Rumble. And the loser has to do a punishment. The winner gets nothing except the joy of not having to do the punishment, which, based on the punishments, has been relatively good joy. So we pick like the winner, obviously, which I think we decided was like you get like an extra point for.
Yeah, I think it's 2 points for the winner.
Yeah, and then everything else is 1 point each. So you like first 2 in, last final 4, most eliminations, longest in the match, and then we also get a random number.
We also the 30th entrant as well.
The 30th entrant, and then we get a random number, and the random number is also like if the winner comes from that number, you get an extra 2 points as well, which has never happened, so we've never had to count it. Like the number is just randomized. But it's a lot of fun. It makes the Rumble fun. It's a fun way to keep track, and at the end of it, someone loses. We haven't decided officially on the punishment yet this year. It will be some sort of watching something that's not good. That's what it always is. Last year, Ryan had watched NWA Hard Times, which was poorly drawn out because
we did not know.
Yeah, it was not a pay-per-view anymore. It became a like TV series. So Ryan had to like wait.
I think that was the first one that they switched, if I recall. I think that was like the first one where the NWA switched from pay-per-views to like where's television shows. It was like, whoa, hold on. I agreed to this punishment, and all of a sudden I gotta watch 5 weeks of NWA television that's going to happen 3 months from now.
It was bad. 2 years ago was Ryan watched 5 of the worst rated cage matches, and it's not.
I think it was 3. I think it was the first one, which I think was.
I don't know. I just know you did that.
Yes.
Which was that was rough.
Yeah.
So we're gonna figure it out because we want to obviously like make it interactive and like interesting. So we'll tell you all that during the week, whatever that may be. Before the Rumble happens, we will have it decided on.
Yeah.
But we have
some ideas floating around, but then the bigger issue became like, this is going to be a copyright issue.
Yeah, there's a lot of copyright.
Old wrestling and live streaming that, like already it's a little weary for me. But one of the ideas I had was like, let's just watch the worst matches from 2024. And I was like, that's probably too recent. So we're figuring that out.
So we have to figure that out. Maybe we'll just have like one of us watch like a WWE Studios movie.
Huh.
Like The Chaperone.
Oh, or, that's not
Knucklehead.
A bad. Let's look up WWE films.
Ooh, The Marine 6.
Honestly, now here's the thing. Hold on, they've made television? Oh, I guess they co-produce television.
Yeah, WWE Raw.
Well, no, it's like Ms. and Mrs., The Big Show, Andre the Giant Doc.
Oh, maybe we'll just make someone watch The Big Show.
I don't think you could find the Big Show anymore.
I think the WWE Studios thing actually might be the perfect idea.
Now, here's the problem with the WWE Studios.
The Ted DiBiase Marine. Ted DiBiase Jr.
Is it the worst ones? Like, are we taking like the top 10 worst ones and then randomizing and then pulling from there?
Randomizing the movie.
Because we can't take all of them. Because some of these
we're only gonna do one movie.
Like some of these in here are, like the Scorpion King, which technically was.
We just have to pick a bad one because, like, I would be fine to watch the Marine, like the original Marine. I like it. Like
12. Remember 12 rounds?
I liked 12 rounds. I liked pretty much the John Cena ones. Everything else, I didn't watch many of them. The Chaperone's the one with Triple H, isn't it? That was really bad.
Chaperone is the one with Triple H. There's also Inside Out. Do you remember Inside Out with Triple H?
Inside Out, the Disney movie?
No, this is another sort of like 12 rounds Triple H with a gun movie.
Triple H with a gun. The Dean Ambrose one? He's in one.
Ambrose.
I think he's in the second 12 rounds.
12 rounds 3, lockdown.
Oh, the third 12 rounds. Is Randy the second 12 rounds?
I believe Randy is the second 12 rounds.
Yeah, see, we have options.
12 rounds 2 reloaded.
I'm gonna ask. Oh man. Yeah, we have options. I think this is the best bet. I think one of us have to live stream watching a WWE Studios film.
Oh, let's watch the resurrection of Gavin Stone starring Shawn Michaels. That came out.
No.
I remember them advertising that movie. Oh man, I agree. I think there's something here because then this could be a bit that happens every year.
Yeah, because there's a new movie every year. Well, there's not a new movie, but there's movies every year that you can just pick from.
Oh my god, 2017, a movie titled "Killing Hasselhoff." It's about David Hasselhoff. Would you like to guess who the wrestlers in this movie were? Killing Hasselhoff. There are two. You are, by the way, never going to get this.
David Otunga.
No. Well, he was in one. He was in one.
He was in one.
What was he in? He was in The Call in 2013.
Dear God. What you just got to tell me the wrestlers.
Hulk Hogan. You're never going to get it. You would never guess it, but it makes perfect sense. And then the Iron Sheik.
Dear God.
Sheiky baby.
You know what's the worst movie I've ever watched?
What's that?
Countdown. At the WWE. I've seen it, unfortunately.
This is the Dolph Ziggler one. Is this the one where he runs around the arena and then Miro pulls a gun on him?
It's in a wrestling show, and they're like gonna blow up the wrestling show.
What a perfect way to put this. What a perfect setting to have for the show.
Dear God. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time with this. Oh my God, the Flintstones.
Yeah, there's a couple animated stuff in here. I'll see if I can put together like the top 10 worst Rotten Tomato scores.
If we can put a randomizer together, we'll do it on here next week.
Yes, that work. I'll have that prepared.
Loses.
Let me make a note. Randomized
Dog
top worst
shit WWE Studios movies.
WWE Studios movies.
They have a new one from 2020 called The Main Event.
Yeah, that one. Well, that one was about a kid getting opportunity to like wrestle, live out like a dream.
NXT.
Yeah, in NXT.
My God.
Yeah.
They have so many movies.
Top 10 worst WWE Studios movie based on
God. Santa's Little Helper.
Santa's Little Help. Is that about a dog?
The Miz, Paige, and Maurice.
Oh my God! Armed Response by featured with Wesley Snipes. What? What? Yeah, that has to be the worst ones because Fighting with My Family is in here, and that was a good movie.
That was a good movie. Yeah, we can't do like the Marine.
Yeah,
or like. Yeah. Okay. Well,
I forgot how many also horror movies are in here too.
Yeah, I don't like horror movies, so I'm gonna say no to that one.
You're also an anti-horror movie guy? I'm not a big horror movie guy. Hold on,
I can't believe there's an Inside Out movie.
Transferring heat in the chat. Watch the Chris Jericho Hallmark movie Country Arts. Actually, I'm gonna
add it to the list. Add it to the list.
I'm gonna take that from the list because I'm gonna add that to a different list that I'm working on with my wife.
Oh no!
You're
gonna willingly watch?
Well, my wife loves
bad movies,
Hallmark movies, especially during Christmas time. I don't know, is Country Hearts a Hallmark movie? Probably not. But there is one starting. I know Trish Stratus. That's like a Christmas Hallmark movie, and we've been for the past 2 years, Scotty, been planning to do that as like a Patreon episode. Us watching and maybe reviewing it. And I might add Country Hearts to that list.
I just need to say they've made 6 Marine movies.
Yes,
4 of them with the Miz.
Good, as it should be with the Miz. As we all intended.
One was
when they first made the Marine, we all assumed that there was going to be some sort of Miz tie-in at some point. Transferring Heat, there's a part 2 that is a Christmas movie.
God.
By part 2, which version? I see one that came out in 2023 with a much older Chris Jericho, and one that came out in, I guess they're all 2023. Country Heart Christmas, I assume is what they're talking about. And that one is a Christmas movie starring Chris Jericho. That's going on the list, baby. Oh God, am I hurting at the Chris Jericho? That's going on the list? Holy shit. Yeah. Country Hearts Christmas. It's days until Christmas, and the Jameson family are all chasing off their dreams. But when the sisters get a chance to be on a live Christmas Eve show, they are faced with a difficult decision. Oh man. Oh my God. When did this come out? 2023? Did he make both back to back? Oh my God. It's so incredibly bad. So yeah, I think we got something.
I don't remember AEW promoting these, by the way.
I don't either, actually. That's a great point. He is strongly working in AEW at this point. He has that AEW haircut. You know the one.
You know the one.
Hassan Albani in the chat. The Condemned was the best WWE movie. This was the one of Stone Cold.
That's Stone Cold. I always heard good things about that one, so we can't watch that one.
Hassan, what do you feel about The Condemned 2 starring Randy Orton? Any thoughts on that? Oh boy. Yeah. Well, I think we got something here. I think we both have something here that is fun for us. So I think we got some definitely interesting stuff. Jingle All the Way 2 starring Santino Marella. Can't wait.
Jingle All the Way 2.
So I think we got some stuff here, Scotty. So I think this is what we're doing. Top 10 worst, and we'll pick one at random, and that will be it. Anyways, before we get to our Rumble, let's start with the Women's Royal Rumble one, so that we do that one first, and then we do another Royal Rumble at the end. Let's do our Women's Royal Rumble predictions up top first. So obviously, Women's Royal Rumble, should say Royal Rumble, by the way, is next week on Saturday, the 1st?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m. Eastern? Jesus Christ. February 1st is when the show is.
Stunned, by the way. Not only is it in February, which is disgusting.
Agreed.
Criminal. Should have been yesterday, truthfully.
Yeah.
But not only is it in February, it starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. I mean, it's great. I'm not complaining. Like, let's be honest. Like, it's gonna be like it's gonna be over before like 10, which is great. But holy shit, it's crazy. The best thing about the Royal Rumble for me, because WWE pay-per-views are so long, they can't do a commercial during the Rumble. So like I don't have to watch a 25-minute commercial situation. I can just watch the match.
Yes, but that's a great point, but they've also started doing those commercials tie-ins during the Rumble. Like I distinctly remember Rey Mysterio coming out sponsored by Modelo, I think.
That's okay though. That's funny.
So we'll see if
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Remember the Cinnamon Toast Crunch match?
Remember the zombie one? What was the zombie one?
Oh dear God, yes, I remember the zombie one. That was during the Thunderdome, wasn't it?
Remember the WrestleMania one where they were sponsored by water?
Yeah. That's what the dude wipes match.
Oh yeah, well that's the Uso. That's the famous Jey Uso dude wipes match. Anyways, Royal Rumble.
They knew what they were doing with that one.
We'll see who's going to sponsor the Women's Royal Rumble here. We'll find out for sure. Women's Royal Rumble, 30 people, obviously, in this one. The only people announced so far as of January 26th, Nia Jax, Bayley, Charlotte Flair making her return, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. These are all the announced participants, 7 of the 30th, one of which is the return of Charlotte Flair. You have to think that she is a favorite here, Scotty. But do you think there's any sort of favoritism in her maybe winning the Rumble, or do you think that's kind of been spoiled by her already being announced for it?
Well, taking into consideration the rumored matches, right, for WrestleMania, at least that's what I'm doing. It feels like Charlotte and Tiffany's won, and then this week Fightful reported Bianca and Rhea might be
out of nowhere.
Not complaining by any means. I'm very into them doing that because the fact they haven't is shocking.
You know what that tells me?
That I win this summer and I get EO back in Japan for a match.
Well, that might be true. No,
that was my big takeaway.
My big takeaway? I don't think they see much in Jade Cargill.
Well, that's okay.
I think it's pretty obvious that they don't see much
in Jade Cargill for an entire year. I'm okay with that. You're absolutely right.
Because everyone suspected that Jade would be back and that would be the WrestleMania match, and then all of a sudden, it's Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley.
That's a good plan. I just want that to be known. Like that is a good plan if they go with that. Like I have no problem with that. So I feel like this is going to be the Batista thing.
Okay.
The Batista thing of we're going to announce that someone's coming back and then they're just going to win and you're going to accept it because it's Charlotte. Because I feel like you're going to get another big surprise in this match with like a Becky Lynch or something to like ease the pain. But I don't think she's going to WrestleMania to challenge for one of the top belts. I think her and probably like Lyra Valkyria is more likely, truthfully. And I think that's probably more of interest to her, honestly, at this stage of the game. So, yeah, I'm picking Charlotte to win. I don't like it at all, but her and Tiffany makes a lot of sense for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Charlotte Flair winning. I have Charlotte Flair winning as well, and I'm sort of the same boat as well. I think they're announcing her return to like prep that. I think maybe if you want to make the argument, maybe it's also a PR thing, not a PR thing per se, but sort of a, they don't want to they want to set expectations early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's plausible. I think it makes more sense for Flair to return here and win the Rumble and face Tiffany down the line because that can give you ample time to set up that match.
Because I think Bianca and Rhea is just instantly if Bianca wins the Elimination Chamber, it's like, oh
yeah. I almost feel like in a weird way, I feel like that comes from out of nowhere if Bianca Belair wins. I mean, she's still women's tag champion.
I agree.
That doesn't necessarily matter when it comes to the singles belt.
Yeah.
But that feels like it would come out of nowhere for her to suddenly win the Rumble. I think Becky Lynch is obviously another choice. It may, let's say the rumors aren't true. I think Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley want to repeat WrestleMania last year. I think that's also a very obvious choice as well.
Yeah.
I guess you could maybe argue Liv Morgan is a dark horse contender. There are a couple of people here. Bailey is maybe a dark horse contender, but I don't necessarily.
I think the dark horse is like Bailey. I'd even throw Io a bone.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I think Charlotte just feels safe and for what they're doing right, because again, I think it's easier to make that the natural way with Tiffany, like you said, of building that. So Charlotte's definitely my pick. I wish there was a more. The funny thing about the Rumble is we don't really get rumors about who wins the Rumble anymore. You notice that? We just kind of like get the matches, and it's like figure it out from there, buddy.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that is WWE getting better at cracking down things? WWE not making decision till day of, or do you think that is, Fightful and or whoever? I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna make a joke based off this past week, Scotty. I don't think you would appreciate it. But is that something of like people maybe are told and they don't want to spoil it for anybody?
Maybe it's fascinating, right? Because like I remember when I was younger, like for a good like decade there, I was like, oh, this is who's winning the Rumble. Oh, this is who's winning the Rumble. Yeah. Right? Like these random sites would be saying it. It was almost always true. Now it's just like this is what WrestleMania looks like. And it's like figure it out. Which is like fine. I prefer that because I do think the Rumble's more fun when you have a wonder more than I think it's pretty much since 2020 it's been that way.
Agreed.
Oddly enough. I just hope the Rumbles are good this year. I really don't give a shit who wins anymore. I just want them to be good.
Agreed. There used to be a time where the Rumbles were like someone said a slice of pizza, right?
I think the last great one was 2020.
I agree. I love the 2021.
2020 Rumble.
The men's one specifically, I assume, was what we're talking about. The Brock Lesnar 2020.
The women's one's the one that Beth Phoenix smashed her head and was bleeding.
Yes.
And she got into the final four. It's kind of beast. I think this year will be good because they have all the star power.
Yeah.
You have Cena. I want them to have we're not on the men's one yet, but I want them to have the balls to put Cena and Punk in the final two. They won't. But
that'd
I want
be
them to
good way to do that. Transferring Heat said, could it be that they have actually built up many options, especially the men's?
That's true.
That is true. I think they have done a good job of
now
setting up a lot more options. Back in the day, it did not necessarily feel it.
Yeah, back in the day, it was like, it's this guy. It can't be anyone else.
Scotty, sometimes they didn't have any options. They just had to pick somebody.
Also true. Shinsuke Nakamura won once.
What Rumble did I watch recently? I went back and watched some old. What was the Rumble that Sheamus won?
That was
2012.
That's not a good Rumble.
That is
Jericho.
Yes, the final two were him and Chris Jericho, who was making one of his like monthly, yearly returns.
Yeah, everyone thought he was gonna win.
That was a Rumble where the first two people were The Miz and Alex Riley. Then it was R-Truth. It was just like it was like. Can I give you very quickly the 30 people?
Maybe we're too hard on the current ones.
I agree. This
when you read that,
can I very quickly get the top the 30? Miz, Alex Riley, R-Truth, Cody Rhodes, Justin Gabriel, Gabriel, Primo, Mick Foley, which I believe was making a return from TNA at this point in time.
This is so bad. Continue.
Ricardo Rodriguez, Alberto Del Rio's announcer at the time, El Local, if you will, Santino Marella, Epico, Kofi Kingston.
Oh, is this the Rumble where like McFoley and Santino do the Socko Cobra thing? Oh.
Yes, that's exactly why they brought Foley back. By the way, Kofi Kingston. By the way, let me know when you have the first big star in this match.
Right, because this wasn't current Cody, so you don't have a big star yet.
I guess
the Miz technically was a big star, but
anyway, speaking of big stars, Jerry Lawler as commentator.
Yeah, we're too hard on the Rumble nowadays.
Yes, This is also the commentator rumble, and you'll know what I mean in a second.
Yep. Yeah.
Jerry Lawler, Ezekiel Jackson, Jinder Mahal, the Great Khali, Hunico.
It's just the worst rumble of all time.
Booker T coming from the commentary desk again.
Yep.
Dolph Ziggler, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Michael Cole to fill out the entire commentary booth.
This is awful.
Karma.
I remember that.
Sheamus, who obviously is the eventual winner. Road Dogg, Jey Uso, Jack Swagger, Wade Barrett, David Otunga. At number 28, here's your first big star, Scotty, Randy Orton.
Okay.
And then Chris Jericho and Big Show.
That is so bad. Okay. So
this Rumble is horrendous.
This is how I think we can best describe the Rumble and the way people look at it now.
An hour long.
People only base a Rumble off surprises now. Because that match had surprises. They were all dog shit.
Commentators, Mick Foley, Road Dogg, Hacksaw Jim
Duggan. Those are surprises, right? Because when the music hits, it's like, oh, but that is 100% worse than most of the past decade.
Yes,
of Rumbles. Like that is awful.
Yeah, that's an awful Rumble. That is
like they can't do that now. Like their roster's too good to do that now.
Agreed.
They couldn't even try.
The wrestling quality has increased so much in WWE that it's like I don't think the match was also not great. Like by the way, not only was no stars, it was not only was there no stars, but it was just like a bad match. But yeah,
bad.
The wrestling quality in WWE has gotten higher by such a degree that I don't think they can do that bad. And I don't think they have
the lowest ranked wrestler they could put in this year. Like,
Gable.
I mean, it's like Gable. In terms of like their I don't mean like talent. I mean like their ranks.
Sure.
He's probably like the lowest rank that can make it
in. Gable's mid card though. There's probably a low card main roster guy that could be in the Rumble. Probably.
I don't think so. Unless he's like there for a bit.
Oh, Akira Tozawa.
I'm looking. But like I don't think he can be in it. Like I don't think there's room for him.
I see what you're saying. Like there's so many people now that like will even Akira Tozawa make an appearance in this year's Rumble.
Right. Like
will Cruz Del Toro or Eric Rowan be showing up?
Right. Like the entire one you just read to me was Cruz Del Toro like 20 times. You know, like
Cruz Del Toro getting shit for no reason over here.
Well, Cruz Del Toro.
I understand what you're saying. Yes,
you get my point. It's like you said, like Primo and Justin Gabriel, and like that's the league that Cruz Del Toro's in. No offense, again, if any of this Cruz Del Toro super fans out there, I apologize, but like they don't have that room anymore. Like this is Roman Reigns, John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn. Like those are the people announced for this thing.
Yeah. They have actual stars this time.
Yeah. It's shocking. It's shocking that people watched back then, myself included.
Anyways, Women's Royal Rumble. First two.
Yes.
Who are your picks for the first
two?
So
our winner we both picked Charlotte Flair. So just to reestablish.
I should write this down, by the way.
I have mine written down. So if you want to write down yours.
Yes, I have mine written down as well.
Okay, we're good then. My first two. Okay. Toss this around. I think Bayley will be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think to get us, I think Roxanne will be later. Because I do think Roxanne will be in this to maybe eliminate Bayley because they're telling that story. But I think it'll be Bayley and Io.
Oh, okay.
Because they like to do those like, oh, and then you open it kind of hot with those two. And then, from there, it's the Rumble.
Yeah, and that's also like a sort of WrestleMania tie-in, from last year, right? That was last year.
Yeah. Now they're both in different spots, obviously, both baby faces, but it's the Rumble. It doesn't matter.
The fact that it's the Rumble, it doesn't matter if they're baby faces alignment and everything. So you can do that match kind of again here. That makes sense. I think that's a solid pick.
First two is not easy.
Yeah, I went a different direction. You went WrestleMania past. I think this is a potential WrestleMania in the future. Maybe even this upcoming WrestleMania. Lyra Valkyria, women's IC champion.
Yep.
And the return of Becky Lynch.
Nice, going big early. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
As my first two, and obviously whatever. In past years, we did first one and first out and second out. This year we just combined it to first two because I remember distinctly some years where like I would lose a point or not, I would not gain a point because even though I said second out, they were the first one out. I think
one year I had Gunther and Sheamus, and they were flipped.
Yes,
and I was like, "This is stupid."
So we decided this time around just combine it. Makes more sense, anyways.
I don't care what order they come out. Longest Idios guy.
Well, real quickly, I think Lyra Valkyria. I think would be a good spot to have Becky Lynch return. I think a Becky Lynch return up front. I think Lynch is returning in this match. It's just a matter of where. Her being number 2 against Lyra Valkyria is a nice little bit here. And I think, especially if you do want to believe the Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair thing, then to me, it's like, then what is Becky Lynch doing? Yeah. And I think a IC title match of Lyra Valkyria makes sense to me. And that gives Valkyria a solid length of reign and presumably more defenses before she presumably loses the belt to Lynch. So I think that, to me, this is where they can maybe start that. Because last year in the men's, they did Jimmy and Jay as the opening. So it's plausible that we'll get something like that. You said longest was who?
Io. I'm going to just run with Io. If she comes in early, she's going to be in there for a very long time. I think that's I think Io's the type that can go the distance but not be in the final 2 type. Oh, she's there in like the final few, and it's like, what a run, and then she gets eliminated. It's like, well, we did a lot for her in this match, she just didn't win. Like, that's why I feel like that's her spot this year.
Io Sky also being the longest in being one of their first 2 out is also good pick
for the match.
Yeah, well, because in Triple H booked Rumbles as of late, and even like super late era Vince, especially the Triple H Rumbles, they have gotten very what's the word? Streaky is not really the word, but like a lot of times whoever's like the first 1 or 2 or 3 in last almost the entire Rumble. So having Io Sky in at number 2 and potentially being the longest, I think is a extremely safe bet.
Yeah, it feels like the best spot for her in this Rumble if she's not like winning, because it's the best way to still get her over. If that makes sense.
I think that's a good point. I went a completely different direction on who the longest could be, because I think this person can easily be the longest through various shenanigans, and that was Chelsea Green.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
She could also be the shortest, though.
She could also be the shortest.
So she is champion now, so I think she'll be protected more.
That's the thing. You could do it in 2 different ways. She could easily be the shortest, but she is champion, so you would think they want to defend that a little bit. So then do the opposite funny thing, which is her being the longest. Maybe she's 3 or 4 or whatever, and she gets she runs out, she escapes, she powders out or whatever. She gets saved by Piper Niven several times. Various ways that I think could see it.
By the way,
but I think you're right. I think it is a 50-50 coin flip of it's either she's the shortest or the longest. I don't think she's in the middle.
I looked at it last year. You picked Naomi to be 30th. She came in first.
I remember that. The bullshit. Because that was her coming back from TNA, right?
Yeah. And I'll also say this, like, this is a big thing for me with the Rumbles here. I think Triple H, because of all the comments over the past couple of years about the Rumbles, I think he's going to want to make a statement, which you'll see kind of with my final 4 of being strong. My most eliminations is Nia.
That's safe.
I go chalk. I go chalk with the eliminations because, like, it'll probably hurt Charlotte, if I had to guess. I have a
dark horse pick, but go.
I don't know how long they want to put Charlotte in the match.
I agree.
Cal Rodriguez last year, so
at one point I had Charlotte Flair in my first 2 when she was a surprise, and then when she got announced, I was like, oh no, she's not the first 2.
No, she'll be like late game for sure.
Yeah, she's like a 27, 26 sort of person.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, and here she comes. We knew she was coming back, and I'm like, yeah, great.
Yeah. My dark horse pick, I think Nia Jax is good. Raquel Rodriguez is obviously also another good pick. Here's a new one that they could push really hard as a most eliminations person that makes sense with who she is, Jordynne Grace.
That would be great. That would be very smart too.
That is a bold pick for me. It's probably
because we're assuming she's in it.
Sure. Yeah, one, we're assuming that she's in it.
If we knew she was in it, I think she'd be the best pick 100%. And I still think that's the best way to establish her.
Yeah, I think a good way of establishing Jordynne Grace is by having a lot of eliminations. She's a strong powerhouse. You could do that. She can be the one that like eliminates Nia Jax as well, and put her over that
might be
way.
an even better way to establish her.
If I'm saying Valkyria and Lynch is IC title, I could see Jordynne Grace and Chelsea Green for the US title. Right?
Absolutely.
I think that is sort of an idea here. So her eliminating like an Nia Jax
wins again, baby,
and a Chelsea Green is 2 eliminations for me. So I just need her to get a couple more.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. Definitely, I think she should eliminate Nia. I think that's the best way to get her over.
Yeah.
Because she's not winning, so it's like, but she should have a very strong showing. I almost picked her as one of the top 2, because if you really want to establish her, have her get a lot of eliminations, have her be in there for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Though they did do well with her last year, despite her not being part of the roster, I thought.
And I feel like she was in for a while too.
She was in there like 20 minutes, and then she got eliminated by like Bianca.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look up her stats from last year. What was
I like Jordynne Grace. This is going to be very funny. We're previewing the Rumble, and then we have to review her last match.
She was her 5th. She was eliminated by Bianca Belair. She was in for 19 minutes and eliminated no one. But
we go big this year.
Yeah, we go big. All right, who do you think is at number 30?
To go against what you had, I'm going with Becky Lynch.
Oh, very good. Very nice.
Because I think you need to have a big surprise at one of the 30s. Because I think the men's, they're not going to have as many because fucking John Cena and CM Punk are in it. So it's like, and Roman Reigns. So it's like, we already told you what you're getting. I feel like in the women's, they're going to go big. And like, this could be like an Alexa Bliss spot. Fuck, this could be a Nikki Bella spot or something.
Yeah, they're teasing that right now.
I'm only going with Becky because I feel like Charlotte late, then Becky, and then they go face to face, because they love that. Because I feel like Becky's almost somehow forgotten while not being forgotten, if that makes sense. Because there's so many rumors right now for the women's side of things.
Yeah.
I would love if she started the match because I just like watching Becky wrestle. Like, that's one of the funny things when I come to like the Rumble. Like, you need a good start and you need a good finish. And I think like Becky Charlotte final 2 is something they could consider as well. Two former winners. We'll see. But going with her with 30. I don't feel great about 30 ever because it's like they can just throw Liv Morgan out there.
Yeah. That's actually Liv Morgan actually could make sense and just sort of her character style.
Get the nice eye roll out of me.
Well, yes, because you're watching her. I went with maybe another chalk sort of thing. I went with Bianca Belair at number 30.
Sure.
I didn't go with the surprise. Yeah, that's a good one as well. I didn't go with the surprise. It does feel like if Jade is returning, she would return at the Rumble, and it would have to be after Bianca Belair. So maybe in hindsight, maybe I'm making a mistake here, but that's fine.
Yeah,
I like making bold picks, and I made my bold picks early already, so we went a little more chalk.
Chalk's a fine thing.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I think the best way for them to book one of these is chalk for once.
Agreed.
I don't know if they're willing to do chalk, but they should.
I think a great way to book the Rumble is to literally put a bunch of roster members in a randomizer and pick 30 people and just randomly pick and then just book it.
How many?
It might be boring, but I think you can make something out of it. A good booker would make something out of that, but whatever.
This is an off topic, like has nothing to do with our thing. But do you think we get like more than like 2 surprises? The women's one, you have to, right?
In the women's one,
Grace is one. I guess Roxanne technically would be one. Becky.
Oh, you're talking about like NXT people?
Well, Roxanne's getting called up.
Yeah.
So, and they're wrestling on Tuesday first. So I feel like Roxanne eliminating Bayley is the best play.
I didn't think about Stephanie Vaquer or Julia at all for this Rumble.
Ooh, that would be exciting.
I didn't think about them at
The
all.
Start the Rumble with Julia and Io.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great for me. I would be like, all right,
Rumble
Rumble of the year, match of the year. No, we won't get that. I never thought about Stephanie Mercury. That was fascinating. She'd have a hell of a Rumble.
Masha Slamovich, is that a surprise?
Oh, do another TNA run-in?
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I think the TNA run-in is going to be the men's. We've talked about this before. I think it's undoubtedly going to be Joe Hendry.
But I do believe that will happen. I don't believe in him, but I do believe that will happen.
Masha is plausible.
He'll get a good pop too.
I think Masha in the women's is plausible, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think they saved for Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I agree. Final four.
Final four. Final four again, very chalk. But I'm trying. This is kind of with my thinking of what Triple H wants to do. I think after the past couple of years, you want to make it exciting. So I'm going Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and all the way from the beginning, Io Sky. Because I feel like those four are the most believable winners.
Sure.
And you want to have it down to, oh, any of these people can win. And in the end, Charlotte wins, and we're all sad because literally my order of who I want to win are the other three, then Charlotte. But I think that is most exciting. I think that is most engaging. And again, you want a star-powered Final Four. I hope they know that. Liv Morgan's like always in the finals, I feel like. So I feel like this year we can keep her out. For the love of God, please. She's always there. Like, was it last year she was final two?
I think so.
It was last year or like the year before. And I was like, really? Like, this is crazy. So I'm going with the big four there. I will say this year is the least confident I've ever been in doing these guesses because, like, I don't know, but I feel like Triple H again is going to want to establish greatness in terms of like the beginning and end. So yeah, I'll go with Io going the marathon, and then the other three probably just coming in the last like 5 or so.
Yeah, Liv Morgan was the final two with Bayley last year. The final four last year were Bayley, Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill, and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany
Stratton.
I haven't put any thought into any sort of NXT person being a Final Four person, but Tiffany Stratton was also somebody that was like undoubtedly going to be pushed down the line. Tiffany also came in at 29. So that's a big part of it as well. But
there's also those times where like they don't care about the Final Four because like Andrade was in the Final Four 1 year.
Yeah. There's also always that chance.
Yeah. That's why I think like he's gonna care.
Yeah, my Final Four are Jordynne Grace, Bayley, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair. So you have I did Flair my winner, Belair the other person that they presumably are going to do a thing with, Bayley somebody that
won last year
and I feel like kind of needs something right now.
Sure.
And Jordynne Grace as somebody that like they're pushing hard, but she would be like
I'd love Jordan to be in there.
Yeah, but she would be like eliminated like fourth to last, you know. So it's
that sort of thing. I've decided Bayley's getting eliminated by Roxanne. I don't know why. I've just decided this. But I think that makes a lot of sense. I want Jordynne Grace in that Final Four so bad.
Me too.
I think that'd be so cool for her. I'm going to praise Jordynne Grace a ton later. So I don't have to do it as much now, but I like that. This is a year we have a lot of different picks, but I think a lot of reasonable picks, and we have the same winner, so that doesn't matter. But everything else was different.
Yes, I agree with that.
And then, are you ready for your number?
Yes. Randomly select my number, sir. This is my number. This is my number that you were picking
for the Women's Rumble.
For the Women's Royal Rumble,
I have clicked it. 12.
12. That's. We'll see. That could maybe, maybe.
And I have 21. I just flipped it.
Bayley came in at 3. Cody came in at 15 last year. 12 could be fine. You did 21.
21. I don't like it. That's gonna be like Ash by Elegance.
she could show up. Hey, if you're not doing Masha, then she could show up.
What was just on that NXT show one time?
Mm-hmm. Who was it? The commentator being like, "Is that Dana Ash by Elegance?"
Let's talk about the other two matches first.
Other two matches we have here for the Royal Rumble.
You have all that written down, correct? Your number?
I have my stuff written down, correct?
Okay, good.
Other stuff we have here is a 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team titles. DIY, Johnny Gargano and Ciampa defending the titles against who they won them from, Motor City Machine Guns,
Raise your
Alex
fist.
Shelley, and Chris Sabin.
Raise your fist.
2 out of 3 falls match. I'm very much excited for this.
Oh, yeah.
I think this should be a very good one. The title win, if I recall correctly, was a little fluky.
Yes.
So will there be another fluky thing here? I don't know. Like part of this feud involves Pretty Deadly and Los Garzas as well. So I think there's a good chance.
What a division.
I think there's a good chance for me that the DIY team will retain in some sort of fluky third fall. And then that all just leads us to a Garza, Deadly, DIY, and Motor City Machine Guns 4-way multi-man bullshit at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I just want this to be great.
Me too. I
That's
also
all
want
I
this
want.
to be great.
I don't give a shit who wins. I think they're going for the DIY revival match. And
they could get it. They could easily get it.
I don't think DIY are the same team they once were. But I think the Motor City Machine Guns are great. And I think DIY can raise their game for this type of match. So when I saw this added, I was like, that's a really good match to just toss in the middle of a Rumble card. Like I'm very here for that. I think it'd be really cool to see the Motor City Machine Guns win, but I feel like DIY just got the belt, so they'll probably retain somehow. I think you're right, Whatever with the fluky bullshit. Kind of bring this, stretch it out to WrestleMania. But I'm cool with 2 great falls and then a fall that goes back and forth until the end. So
the fact that this became a 2 out of 3 fall, or not that became, but they announced this as a 2 out of 3 falls match, right? To me, definitely screams that they're not going to add a 5th match in here, because I'm looking at 2 Royal Rumbles, which are basically an hour, and a 2 out of 3 falls match, which is like at minimum, I'm going to say 20 minutes. Yeah. And then you have a world title match. This should be it for the show, probably. I am also very excited for this. I think they could get there. That had history behind it and a good underdog team. And I don't think Motor City Machine Guns have that underdog factor to them right now. But I think in terms of quality in a different kind of way, I think it's plausible that they get back to that DIY FTR sort of thing. I'm very much excited for this. And I'm also very much excited for the ladder match here for the world title, undisputed WWE title. Weird that what was the line last night? That like, we're gonna we're gonna combine these titles to figure out who's the true undisputed champion. It's like Kevin Owens isn't like I don't think there's any real dispute. The only person's disputing who the champion is Kevin Owens. And also my favorite bits from last night's segment was Pat McAfee just being an absolute dumbass and saying something to the effect of like, glad they're putting the Winged Eagle belt on there. Like Michael Cole being like, yeah, that's kind of the idea, Pat, is that that's why we're having the ladder match to figure this out. Anyways, but yeah, I think this is I said this earlier, a really well put together rivalry in WWE. Like legitimately, I'm not saying storyline, I'm saying legitimate rivalry that they put together really well. This goes back for months when like Kevin Owens was just kind of a babyface guy that was around on the roster, and Cody Rhodes calling him out, being like, hey, I want to give you a world title match, but I don't think you got that like dog in you anymore. I don't think you got that drive anymore. And here we are. And many moons later, we're having a ladder match to decide who is the WWE champion between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. I'm very much looking forward to this match. I think it's been well put together. I'm very excited for it. Scotty, what do you think about this match?
I'm very much behind this match. I think the beauty of this is that these two are very good at ladder matches.
Yes,
that is an important thing. Like that. This is a thing that these two are legitimately great at.
Obviously, Kevin Owens. Yeah, obviously Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens, and then even Cody. Like Cody had the highly praised one with Guevara in his last AEW match. So
5 stars, a 5-star classic there.
I legitimately think that these two have something great in them, and they've been saving it. This is the thing with WWE. Every match is built, right? Every match is like, oh, that could have been better. That could have been better. Well, this is the blow off match.
Yeah.
They're gonna put it all out there and they're gonna, I think, crush it. I'd love if Kevin Owens won.
Me too.
I really would.
I think he's doing some of the best work in his WWE career right now.
I agree.
His main roster career, I should say.
And while I think that'd be amazing, and then that would like open the floodgates for a Sami Zayn win if he were to win. I don't think they have I don't think they will do it. Now, this is like the perfect chance to change it because it's a ladder match. You're not pinning Cody.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't think they have it in them to do it, especially this close to Mania.
I fully agree. Kevin versus Sami screams world heavyweight title to me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like that feels like
I would have been happy with, to be fair. If we had
agree. Yeah, I agree. I think Kevin is doing some of his best work right now, and I think that I would love to see them do that. They don't have the balls to do
I wish they did
like
this
that.
feud going into SummerSlam.
Yeah, because then that would be fun. I was thinking about that last night when like Kevin Owens said, like, you're pyro, you're bust, you're all, he's listening to these things. So I was like, how often in pro wrestling do people cut those sort of promos and then like they lose? How fun would it be for Kevin Owens to win, become champion, and then have like Cody Rhodes pyro, have like the reskinned American Nightmare bus? Like how fun would that be?
Yeah.
But the problem is, you're right. WrestleMania is around the corner. Undoubtedly, they are not going to do that. They are not going to risk any sort of Cody Rhodes storyline right now.
The biggest matches they have involve Cody Rhodes. All the biggest matches they have involve him.
Yeah.
And they want their world title on the biggest match. Or one of the biggest.
Because that's the thing, right? I think a big WrestleMania match that feels very obvious that Ryan Knightsey on the show pitched many moons ago was, I think, as far back as last year's WrestleMania. Maybe even earlier when Cena announced his retirement.
Well, we didn't know when Cena was retiring until the summer.
Yeah, it was whenever we knew that.
Said it.
It's somewhere between Cena announcing it and when we got the dates of me being like, at some point I said Cena Cody. So basically a year ago. That match doesn't necessarily, I think, need a world title. I think that match is very interesting without it. The problem is what that makes that match a WrestleMania match is the world title being on the line and Cena going for the record. And
that's the biggest match you can book right now with no Rock.
Agreed. And I think there's an argument to be made that
it's bigger.
That might be bigger.
Involved.
Yeah, The Rock is arguably a bigger star than Cena. If we're going to
Cena's retirement, last WrestleMania,
going for the record, has I think a shot to maybe win it. I don't think it's out of the question to put the belt on Cena, but that's
he's getting 70.
That's a conversation for another day.
It's a matter of when. Oh, you want to hear my pitch?
Sure.
So I pitched in my head. Sorry not to cut you off. I apologize.
That's fine.
But this is very important because I will forget. Kevin Owens, I pitched, would actually be the better opponent for John Cena in terms of the story itself, because it is the heel Cena or the heel Owens against Cena. And he brings back the spinner belt because he already has the other two.
Yeah.
So he brings back the spinner belt and be like, hey, John, look what I found. And then he destroys it.
I like Kevin Owens' new gimmick being a ticket buying fan for WWE, coming out with all these replica belts. I think I like this new gimmick about him. He's the belt collector in the sense that he's a fan that collects belts.
It's all the same belt.
You go to his house and he has a display case with all these thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars spent on replica belts.
They probably still have that one at least. At least the one that says John Cena on it, which is the one I want him to get.
Well, here's the problem, Scotty, is they're going to come out and he's going to go out and he's going to spin the WWE. And everyone online is going to be like, that's fake. That's a replica. That's not the real one. We all know that the real one doesn't spin anymore. So that would be.
They had two. Well, they technically have two because the one that stopped spinning was flatter.
Yes.
I'm not doing this belt thing. but I'm just saying, like,
maybe this is a discussion
they have
point.
the real one.
This is a discussion point on the future episode of Hustle, Loyalty, and Retrospect.
I also need Cena, if he wins the title, to bring back the spinner. That's just okay. The spinner needs to come back. Hot take for the people at home. I love the spinner belt. Sue me.
Cena versus Owens is not terrible. I don't necessarily picture that as like a retirement match. Not a retirement match. I can't believe you pulled that up in an instant. He pulled up the spinner belt in an instant. I never think of like Cena and Kevin as like one of his few retirement matches, but I think I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be. I love that feud too. I wouldn't be against it at all.
It's gonna be Cody and Cena. But yeah, I'm excited for this ladder match. Should be great. Now let's do the predictions.
Our winners
bullshit to talk about.
Our winners is whom? I mean, mine is Cena. I think Cena's
mine's Cena.
I think you could tell a story where Cena doesn't win here and instead wins the chamber, right? But I think that is that because then it becomes, well, then who the fuck is winning the Rumble? And I don't know who cares.
To do a Ryan Knightsy for a second with the hands. I don't think there's anyone else that clearly makes sense to win this damn thing. Yeah. Like this is what I was talking about earlier. It's like, if it's not John Cena, then who is it?
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be Punk, presumably. That'd be kind of awesome. It's not going to be Roman, though. That would be.
Well, can I give you an outside pick that honestly I've been thinking about? And here's my pitch
If you say Seth Rollins, I'm coming to the screen.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to because I'm going to forget.
I deserve it.
I think Roman versus Gunther is a great match.
I agree.
I think that would be.
But I agree.
I don't think that's going to happen this WrestleMania. But I was thinking about like who Gunther could be facing, and if we just threw Punk away, which I imagine a lot of people do. A lot of people would like that.
Most people do, yes. I don't. But most
if we just threw Punk away for a moment, Roman versus Gunther as like a night one match really feels nice because it's like, what is Roman doing after the whole bloodline feud? It feels like go for the world title. He's the baby face. He should face Gunther then.
Yeah. Here's a pitch.
Yeah.
To follow what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
One of Roman and Punk win, and unfortunately for Gunther, they pull the rug out from under him at Elimination Chamber.
They do a triple
threat. Do the move up. They do the move up. Like, oh, I want to challenge you here because I want to main event WrestleMania.
Oh, is that
the main event?
The ZSJ.
And that's how we get the Punk versus Roman main event World Heavyweight title.
Super bold booking. I don't necessarily see it. I think I'm still sticking with Cena for all of this, but
100%. Well, this is with the world title.
Yes,
Cena's winning, but like if they want to tell the story in the Elimination Chamber of I came up short, I can do the Chamber now. They could do that. I think Cena winning the Rumble is just the easiest and simplest, and no one's going to complain. And he would tie Stone Cold's record. So it's all about records for Cena this year.
It could also. You could have Roman win this Rumble. He hasn't won a Rumble in a very long time, and this time around he'll be cheered. Yes. And you could do a thing where the match is Gunther versus Roman versus Punk as a triple threat. And because all you have to do is
before Mania, though, because they won't do that at Mania.
No, I'm saying that could be the Mania.
Roman won't do that at Mania.
I agree. I'm saying you could because the story there is Punk saying, Heyman, I'm getting that match. You're putting me in it. And then Gunther be like, why is this guy going?
It'd be a great match.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really good thing.
Here's the booking. Here's the thing. Here's the problem for all of this, right? Mm-hmm. Here's how the pecking order goes in terms of WWE booking. Yeah. Roman Reigns, Triple H, everyone else. That's how decisions are made.
Well, The Rock is in there somewhere as well.
The Rock is in there when he's around.
The Rock is above Triple H. Above Roman,
maybe he might be equal with Roman. That's just like the Samoan dynasty power. That's just like out.
Cody is below Triple H.
Yes,
only immediately. Cena
probably doesn't give a shit.
I tend to agree.
Punk's below them.
Punk is below them
in terms of who gets the say.
Yes.
Roman's definitely though above. Like if there's no, just based on the past couple of years, like Roman's probably like, I'm not doing that. Triple H is like, okay.
Oh, well, I think we should also put the caveat. I think I would do Roman / Heyman.
Yes,
as
they're together for sure.
Yes,
for
as
sure.
a duo.
That's
It is
a
100%.
powerful duo that no one can outbook.
Yes.
That's why, like, all of this that we're talking about, not gonna happen.
Yeah. Cena as our both
That
of
sounds
our
like
winners.
a lot of Roman trying.
Yes. Cena as both of our winners. Who is your first two?
I couldn't figure out who made sense here. Like, I was just like, what would be fun for me? So I decided Penta and Rey Mysterio.
Oh, I was just thinking that. I think that's fun.
I was like, you give Penta the big entrance,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's the whole thing. Which, by the way, the swirly thing they added this week was awesome.
Yeah.
And then you bring out Rey Mysterio, and it's like, oh shit, this is great. The other person I was pick was Dominic.
Yeah. Well, I think Rey Mysterio would be way more fun. It's the same sort of
Dominic
idea.
Is number 3 would work.
I think that's the same sort of idea of. Well, I think Gable as a number 3 would be
also would work.
I think
all 4 of them, first 4.
Same logic that we talked about of Bailey and Io Sky. You can have 2 baby faces open up the Rumble. It doesn't matter. It's the Rumble.
Right.
Penta and Rey Mysterio would be the perfect time to do that. I think
Penta's hot right now. Like, get him out there early instead of just a run-in.
You know what he looks like underneath the mask?
Nah, I'm just talking about
with that many kids. Yeah, high five.
I think that would be a really cool opening. If they want to get Penta over, kind of put him out there with Rey and do the magic for 3 minutes or however long. But
yeah, yours is way better than mine. I think
yours is gonna be like the Miz and
mine's the Miz and Alex Riley. No, I did Chad Gable and Dragon Lee. Assuming Dragon Lee is not on like paternity leave or whatever the hell's happening there. But he had congratulations on having a kid. I think they do a Chad Gable thing, and then they do another Hispanic wrestler.
Whatever the hell's happening.
Yeah.
You mean a child?
Yes. I think Dragon Lee could be a solid, like, different thing for Chad Gable.
Sure.
And I think the question there,
Chad Gable and Penta. We could have probably just come.
I thought about that as well. Well, my thought process here was deciding whether or not Triple H's booking is that he wants to showcase Chad Gable still, and this storyline of Gable US against all these Hispanics, or talk about a rough week, or realize that Penta is the hotter act and go with Penta. Based on Triple H, I'm leaning the former. So I'm just saying that he's going to focus on Chad Gable and instead give him another Hispanic wrestler, and that one being Dragon Lee here.
Here's a funny thing.
Outside pick, Psycho Clown from AAA, and we kick things off. And Conan comes out, and he's Alberto Del Rio returns and faces in.
One of my favorite things to do when I think of like these Rumble things is like, what entrance do they want to get over at the start of one of these? Because they did it with Gunther.
That's always big. That's always the big. That's always
right.
The big thing. Yeah.
Like when the lights go out and Gunther does the pose, like they did that a few years ago. I thought multiple years they were going to do it with Cody, and then they just didn't.
Yep.
Remember when he came in 30? That was hilarious. So for me, I thought get the Penta entrance over.
Yeah.
60,000, and then him and Rey Mysterio just dot up. A lot of people know who Rey Mysterio is, obviously, so
yeah,
that helps.
I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it's way more interesting. I think it's way more plausible than Gable Dragon Lee, because I think Gable Dragon Lee is honestly quite boring. It would be interesting. It would still get over, I think. But I think you're right in terms of Triple H loves entrances, and he wants to showcase the entrances.
Oh, he sure does.
And he will be able to do that with Penta. And he won't be able to really do that with Rey Mysterio, really.
He's Rey Mysterio.
But Rey Mysterio is Rey Mysterio. He'll get the pop. People recognize that it's two great.
I think Rey Mysterio first, then the Penta pop. Like, oh, shit, this is happening. Like, oh, they're going one-on-one to start this. Like, this is the new big luchador of WWE versus the long time. So yeah, that'd be fun. We'll probably both be wrong, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Who's the longest?
I have zero confidence. I went with Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, very nice, very nice. Last year was Jey Uso.
Yeah, I almost went Jey Uso again.
Yeah.
After he lost last night, but I was like, he literally did it last year. So I'll go with Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn's not bad. I don't think it's a bad pick. I'm going Sheamus.
Nice.
Going Sheamus. I was considering Braun Breaker in that spot. But I'm gonna go with big old Shamo. Just because I like seeing Sheamus, and he wasn't in the Royal Rumble last year.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt, so why not?
Oh, Logan Paul is, by the way, absolutely gonna be in this.
Yeah.
I was going through the roster and I was like, oh, right. He exists.
Yeah, so Sheamus and who the heck did you say?
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, yes. Most eliminations.
Drew McIntyre.
Jacob Fatu.
That's a good one.
Based off how they've set him up at Saturday Night's Main Event, I think it could be easily Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. Funny enough, for my 30th, I have Jacob Fatu.
Funny enough, for my 30th, I have Drew McIntyre.
That's crazy. So my idea was Roman's like, doing the shit, right? Roman's, and then the music hits and it's Fatu, and it's like, oh, we're finally getting the. Yours, it would be like Rollins or Punk.
Well,
right?
Rollins or Punk. It could also still be Roman, right?
It could still be Roman. That's true.
Ultimately, but yeah, similar idea. Similar idea.
Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't have Fatu as most eliminations. Though I think Fatu, even if he came in at 30, could get most eliminations. Because I feel like he would be like the type that's like, oh, he's going to come in and clean house with 5.
Yeah. Final 4.
Like I said earlier, we're going big only. Going big early. He's trying to establish something. So
Big E.
Big E needs to return to this Rumble. If he's ever going to return, it should be here. John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. We're going gigantic.
Yeah.
Triple H doesn't have the balls to go gigantic, but I think he should. It's going to be like Jey Uso. I know it. I almost had Jey Uso in here.
It's going to be Dirty Dom.
Dirty Dom, Andrade, John Cena.
Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, God.
So we've Cena against Justin Gabriel, Primo, and Ricardo Rodriguez.
It's going to be John Cena, Joe Hendry. Oh, God. I can't even imagine that. I hope Hendry's eliminated before Cena even touches the ring. Like, that guy does not deserve to share the ring with John Cena. I'm sorry.
I agree. Funny enough, my final 4, very similar, but I set it up in a different way. Cena versus the Ghost from Christmas Past, CM Punk. Cena and the Ghost of Christmas Present, Seth Rollins. Cena and the Ghost of Christmas Future, Braun Breaker.
Oh, I love that.
Instead of Roman Reigns, I did Braun Breaker instead.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, so we're pretty similar.
Very similar. We swapped out Roman and Braun Breaker, basically for the final 4. Yeah, I like that. I think you need to have Cena.
It's going big either way.
Cena, we obviously think Cena's winning, so I think it's that. I think you got to have Punk in that final 4. You could eliminate him earlier via a Reigns sort of situation.
Yeah.
But I think you got to have Punk in
my
there.
thing is he eliminates Reigns, Rollins eliminates him.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Reigns, my final 4 without Reigns does feel wonky. But I'm thinking maybe like a Drew or a Rollins or somebody eliminates Roman Reigns.
When's the okay, hold on. Royal Rumble Final 4.
Are you talking about Final 4 of last year?
I'm just doing Final 4 of every year.
Final 4 last year was Cody Rhodes, Punk, Gunther, and McIntyre.
So Roman Reigns, every time he's been in a Rumble, has been Final 4.
Yikes.
2020, which was the last time he was in one. He wasn't in 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014.
Not looking good for old Ryan Knightsey over here.
He's like the one that I'm like, I feel like he's not going to keep himself away. Like he can't do it for the greater good. But At the same time, I am scared about him because I do think Punk could just get rid of him right before.
Yeah. I mean, you could also like swap out like Rollins and Roman Reigns. I think
Rollins was the one I almost swapped up like 3 times.
I kept
I
Rollins.
don't want him there.
I kept Rollins in there for the Punk stuff because that felt like so blown off so quickly.
I could see Drew being there instead of him. I could see Braun Breaker being in there instead of him. I could see Uso.
But I can also see Punk, Cena, Reigns, and Breaker. You know, like that feels pretty good too. That feels better than a Seth Rollins.
So, I like that a lot. That would be good for me and you. We both get 3 points.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping for. And I can't switch it. It's too late. We can't switch it. We've already decided.
Would you like your number?
I would like my number.
18.
What, 18?
18.
18. All right. A little bit better, I think. I think it's a little more fun. Your
16.
Number? Okay, very similar. Cody won at 15 last year, so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. All right,
John Cena ain't touching the Rumble until 20 or on.
Yeah, I agree. 18, maybe, probably not.
18 got.
Yeah, there's a shot there.
18 you'll get like Punk.
Yes. Yeah. 18 is a good Punk. Maybe a good Roman. No, too early. Too early. That guy's gonna be the get match.
Roman's only like 28.
Yeah.
He won't go 30 because like they'll give it away, but he'll just be at the very end.
Yeah. Well, that is the Royal Rumble preview, folks. That is our Rumble predictions game.
WWE Studios, here we come.
Here I come. Yeah. Well, very much excited for that.
I kind of don't hate losing this year because I feel like this will be very funny.
I think this is a fun one. I think it's
like, oh my god, this is a terrible movie, and I want the movie. I want the like letterboxed review
of after the fact?
Out of 5 stars. The little description. This was dog. Like worst movie.
Are you a letterbox guy?
I am.
I am a taste.io guy, which is Letterbox before Letterbox was the thing.
Oh, okay.
And I have all of my ratings in here, and I do not feel like transferring it. So it is a big thing. No. I have 1,070 ratings in this program.
Holy!
Every single movie I've ever seen in my life is rated in here.
Holy! Yeah, I don't blame you for not switching over.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother.
All right, let's talk about all the other stuff because we're already 2 hours in, Ryan.
I know. I apologize, folks. All right, let's start off. Let's do. We'll go sort of in chronological order. So we'll start here with a more fun one. Let's do TNA Genesis.
More fun, and he says TNA.
Scotty, it was that or GCW? Do you want me to pick GCW?
No, you get me. You got me. I'm sorry. I plead the fifth.
TNA Genesis took place, of course, in Garland, Texas. This was the Curtis Caldwell Center. 4,000 people in attendance. I think they said they sold out the building.
Number 2 promotion?
No.
Okay.
But they certainly are able to.
Good talk.
Yes. TNA Genesis, Curtis Caldwell Center, sold out. Super cold review. Real quickly going through the card. Moose defeats Ace Austin to retain the TNA X Division title. Eric Young and Steve Macklin defeat the System. Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. Spitfire retain the titles against the Elegance girls. Tessa Blanchard defeats Jordan Grace. Mike Santina defeats Josh Alexander in an I Quit match, which Josh Alexander then quits and then shows up on TNA on television. I don't know why. TNA World Tag Team Champion, the Hardys, defend their titles against the Rascals. Masha defends her title against Rosemary, and Joe Hendry beats Nick Nemeth to win the TNA World title. Thoughts on the overall show, Scotty? Thoughts on the matches that took place at TNA Genesis and their big time in the first big arena?
I mostly did not enjoy it. It was fine.
All right. Why is that?
Because it's TNA. I thought the middle of the show was kind of bad.
The middle?
Like after Jordan and Tessa, I wasn't locked in.
You weren't locked into Mike Santana and Josh Alexander?
The no sell pissed me off.
Yeah. I thought you're talking about the Josh Alexander doing the C4 to Mike Santana and him no selling it. Yeah. I didn't care for that.
That
Both matches,
just they put a lot of good effort in.
Both matches were really good. The Tessa Jordan match was ruined by like whatever the finish was,
The
screwing that up, turnbuckles thing. And then I didn't much care for the no sell. And then there was something else.
There was
I
a
think
few
about
things
the
in that
finish.
one that took away more from me.
Yeah, I think that one was a better match, but had more things that brought it
hate I
down.
quit matches too, so that hurt them by default because I hate the asking.
Yeah,
Do you quit? No. No.
I really actually kind of liked the Eddie Kingston aspect of this match, which was
that's true.
Josh Alexander being like, "You're never gonna be a top guy" or whatever, and then Mike Santana beating the crap out of him. I was like, I kind of enjoy that part of it.
I
think that was the best part of the show was the middle, legitimately. Those two matches I thought were the best part.
Okay, so to be fair, I didn't watch a certain match in between that, so like that's not the full middle for me. The middle is the Hardys. I hated that match.
Mm-hmm.
Like the middle. So okay, I think I should take it back. I don't think this was a bad show. It was a fine show.
Agreed.
I think only one match I walked away from like this was bad, and that was the Hardys because they're just slow and boring. So like watching the Rascals wrestle slow was not entertaining for me. I think everything else was serviceable or very good. I thought Jordan and Tessa was the best match for me, which I hate to say because I don't like Tessa Blanchard. But this is where I get to have my moment to give Jordan Grace all the credit in the world because I thought she was awesome in this match. I don't think this was a sense of like, oh, these both are really good. No, I think Jordan Grace is just that good.
Agreed.
Because everything that took away from this match was Tessa's fault, and everything that was given to this match was Jordan.
Yeah,
Jordan doing the rolling, like I forget what it's called. It's the move that Mark Briscoe does.
Yes,
it was insane. I was like, that's a crazy bump.
Rolling Death Valley, is that something?
Yeah, this would have got 4 out of me if it wasn't for the turnbuckle stuff.
Agreed. I think it went 3 3/4 exactly.
I think Jordan Grace is one of the most underrated wrestlers in North America. And I don't think that'll last much longer because she's going to WWE.
Agreed.
But I was like, I said to you, and I said it in a poor way because it made it sound like it was a TNA disrespect. I'm very happy she's leaving TNA because she's going to get the full respect she deserves on a worldwide scale rather than just if you watch TNA, you know she's great. Right? I think she is awesome. One of the best. Like, I'm excited to see her work with other folks now that I think, 1, deserve to work with her. Yes, that is a shot at Tessa. And 2, that, she can raise her game. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I thought this was very, very good. Tessa winning, getting the chance she got were very deserved. The win was not deserved. The everything else was. The win made sense, obviously. I understand why she won.
I greatly enjoyed the commentary, sort of like subtly addressing everything about Tessa Blanchard.
I think those are, not to do the commentary thing again, but I think Hannafin and I don't know what his
Matthew
name is
Raywalt.
Yeah, I think they're a decent team.
I think they are a decent team. I don't think they're outstanding, but I also don't think they're bad. I think
they're a solid wrestling commentary team.
Agreed.
Which honestly, these days, I'll take.
Agreed. Yeah, I thought Jordan Grace was great in this match. Tessa, I thought she was really good. I'll give her that. Like, I think Tessa was still really.
Have to. It's okay.
I know. I'm not going to hold up my signs that say I'm a Tesla guy or whatever the fuck that sign was.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They gave out to a bunch of people. I'm not singing her praises, but I'm going to say that throwing out what we do with Logan Paul or any of these other people.
Yeah.
Throwing it out, just looking at the work, I thought she was really good, but ultimately I agree that Jordan Grace elevated her a lot in her performance.
She does too much NXT face.
Yeah.
Though.
Yes.
That is her biggest problem in the world.
I'm not going to say NXT face. I'm going to say she does too much please hire me face. Does that make sense?
Now it does, to be fair. Though she's always done that. Like, she did that in her last TNA run, too.
Yes.
Like, she always has done NXT face.
Yes. And I really enjoyed also Mike Santana, Josh Alexander. To a certain extent, I agree. I thought it was higher, but I thought there was more mess ups. I wasn't a big fan as well of the no sale by Mike Santana. I thought,
yeah.
I guess it kind of works if Josh Alexander is truly leaving to no sell his finish.
But he's not leaving yet.
Yeah, the fact that he is not leaving for a couple more months and he says I quit and then showed up on TNA Live, it's kind of ridiculous. But I think this had higher work than the women's match there, but agree that there was more mistakes. But I think I ended up being 3 3/4 as well here.
I went 2 3/4.
Oh.
I don't. So this is where my take goes. I kind of find Josh Alexander matches boring.
I think you've had that take like a year or so ago as well. He is somebody that I think he needs a good dance partner.
Yeah. And I love Mike Santana. I celebrate that guy all the time.
I think Santana is a good enough dance partner, but not a great dance partner.
Sure. Yeah, I think this again comes down to like my expectations, so it gets bumped down.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a 4+ easy, just because I believe in them. But yeah, I'm very on and off with Josh Alexander. I think that's my whole thing.
Yeah.
I watch him in big matches, and sometimes I'm left like I feel like this match would have been great if it was Mike Santana and Steve Macklin.
Yeah.
I just think that fits better. Like, I don't think, and this isn't actually just a slight at Josh. I think Josh just wrestles a normal wrestling match better too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's his thing, you know. Mm-hmm. So, let's talk about the main event real quick.
Yes, Joe Hendry.
By the way, I thought all things considered, Masha was very good.
I went like 3.5 on Masha and Rosemary. I was surprised how much I liked that one. Masha did a really good job. And the fact
Rosemary
that
took a lot of bumps.
Rosemary took a lot of bumps. Gotta respect that. And the amount of weapons hiding Rosemary.
Sure.
I think I was sort of surprised how much I liked the Rosemary Masha match. And maybe, Scotty, maybe she does deserve that.
Great.
Maybe Rosemary does deserve that 8.52 on Cage Match.
No. I think Masha's just so good. Like, she is so far above for me.
Yes.
I am going out of my way to watch a GCW show today. Just a match. She's wrestling Megan Bain. Sue me. Like, you can't put that on and expect me not to watch
TNA versus AEW, baby. Here we go.
Some could say WWE. She's not WWE, but they are in a partnership. But no, I think Masha, she is legitimately one wrestler. I am seeing what is she scheduled for her indie stuff. I'm gonna go out of my way to watch that, because I watched this and I was like, this is way better than this should have been.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about the main event. Crowd was hot for it, so that helped.
That helps.
The work was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 3-star work, but the crowd got to 3 1/4 for me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't like him, but he's over, and I accept
it. And then give me your thoughts on Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I was talking about JBL.
Nice. I tried to swerve you on the Nick Demuth, and you got it back around the JBL. Nice, good job. Great bit. I enjoyed that greatly, folks.
Yeah, Joe Hendry. Listen, he's not a great worker. Hell, he's not even a good worker. But he's over.
But you know who else was an awful worker? Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? No,
yeah,
Joe Hendry is no Hulk Hogan.
You said this after their match. And I was like, buddy, he ain't going to. So he's like, he needs to be a Hogan or Cena. I was like, buddy, he can't be a Cena. Cena was a great worker.
Cena was a way better worker.
Cena had great matches at least once a year. This guy's never going to have a great match.
What I mean by that is that I don't think Joe Hendry wrestles. When I say that Joe Hendry needs to wrestle more like Hulk Hogan and John Cena, I mean he needs to wrestle like a guy who has a limited moveset and gets over fully based off of crowd charisma. I don't even think Joe Hendry's that charismatic, but
he sings a song.
He sings a song and the crowd likes that, and he waves his hands. But he needs to be able to work within that limited moveset. And I think he too often tries to go beyond his limitations and try to be like a proper worker guy. And he's not that. And I think that's a mistake that he does. I don't think he needs, I don't want to, there's no reason Joe Hendry should be having 20-minute main events, in my opinion. But if you give him 15 minutes, you can get his good stuff in. The crowd can stay hot for him the entire time. I think that would be way better. I think he needs to work like a Hulk Hogan way more than he needs to work like any other guy in any other company right now. Right.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to work and be like an MGF who's like, kind of a slimy guy, but is able to also convincingly pull off like destroyers out of nowhere. Right. Joe Hendry's like not that guy, even though he's not even doing destroyers. I'm not saying he's like an ultra worker trying to do all these things. I think he's more limited than even his limited moveset is, and he just needs to work within that a lot better for me to like him more, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
And where does Nick Nemeth go from here? Tag titles, baby. Get ready for Hardy Boys versus the Nemeth Boys. Woo! Get into it.
Yeah, TNA is not really for me.
Yeah, what I got from this, by the way, the big thing I got from TNA as their first big show, and their first big show after announcing the partnership with TNA, and more importantly than all of that, Scotty, I'm also going to throw in here, not a review because I haven't watched it yet, but just like the conversation point of TNA Live, of what that show was. That show had 4 matches. Dana Brooke was in one of them, along with Rosemary, who was an NXT person, but Dana Brooke was in one of them. You also had the Hardys. You had Fraxium, which is an NXT team, and then the return of Matt Cardona in the main event. Like, you also have a lot of like older folks in here and a lot of WWE or actual NXT talent. And this show coming out of TNA is Joe Hendry at top, a tag title program that feels like the Hardys versus Eric Young and Steve Macklin at first, maybe, but eventually, ultimately, going to be versus the Nemeths, and Moose versus Mance Warner or Matt Cardona down the line. Brian Myers versus
Mance Warner's a good ad.
I agree. But Moose versus Matt Cardona seems like it would be right up there because the system versus system is right there.
Jake something had a world title match.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm looking at the tapings.
Oh, sure. That's fine. For a taping, that's fine. But yeah,
I like Jake something.
Ultimately, my point I'm trying to make here is that TNA, what I read from here is that they're going into a direction that is trying to appeal more to their WWE audience.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's the best idea. I think it makes sense for them, right, in their position.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that's a great idea for TNA long term. And I think in terms of, we talked about the relationship a lot last week. I think that's something that could damage them long term in terms of the relationship. Because if these people can do WWE Light even more, then why not just become WWE?
Sure.
And pushing the Hardys and pushing Joe Hendry, who's big, putting Fraxium, which was a good match, supposedly, according to the Cage match.
They had to put over Joe Hendry. Like,
yes. Yeah.
This isn't a WWE thing. That was he's the most over guy in the company.
Yes. Currently, I'm going to use the comparison. Currently, he is their Hulk Hogan. He sold out a crowd on his name, basically, and his limited worker bill. Not being a worker, though.
Yep. It is worth noting. I'm just looking at the upcoming tapings. So spoiler alerts if you care about TNA tapings. Cora Jade wrestles twice, so she did both tapings.
Yeah.
Fraxium did the tapings on Friday against. They defended their belts against the Nemeths.
Okay.
Which I found fascinating.
Again,
and it looks like
parties.
Josh Alexander had his final match as well as part of the tapings against Eric Young. So,
yeah, I imagine these TV tapings are going to go out until February and March, whenever his thing's over. Because that's the thing, is that he might be done right now, but his contract's not over until the end of the
I do like that they have the two, Tyson DuPont, and these are the two new guys on NXT that are with Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
They're massive. I like that they're like doing the TNA thing. Like, again, this is kind of what we talked about last week. Like, you want to send those new guys. Like, yeah, you're gonna get Wesley, who's established obviously and has the history with the Rascals. But I do like seeing Tyson DuPont and I don't know the other guy's name quite honestly.
Genuinely, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Tyreek, maybe. Oh, whatever. I don't know. I saw them do they had like this video once to introduce them, and I was like, oh, these guys are interesting. They have charisma. But anyways, my point is about this is like they're in a weird spot because like for every WWE move they clearly make, they add Mance Warner.
Agreed. And I agree. I think I'm coming at it very pessimistically, but a good optimistic thing is they added Mance Warner, who I think is a legitimately really good pickup. And AEW flirted with Mance Warner a couple times actually.
He makes more sense for TNA.
Put him on TV properly at one point. But yeah, I think he makes more sense for TNA. I think that's a good spot for where he is in his career. It will allow him to, I think, continue doing his like sort of deathmatch gimmick stuff. Yeah, I'm totally fine with Mance Warner. Putting him with Steph DeLander, I'm not fully convinced about that being a good idea. We'll see. I'm going to let that play out, I guess. But I think Mance Warner is a solid pickup. And yeah, you're right. I think to quell my fears of where they're going with TNA and being more WWE focused, Mance Warner is a pickup. Mustafa Ali is a guy they also re-signed. A guy that let his contract run out with TNA, surveyed the field, and no one was buying. And he's like, all right, never mind. I'll just go back to TNA.
Good to bring him back, though.
Yeah, I think he was solid in TNA when he was in there. Good enough for what compared to everything else he was doing.
Match.
But I think ultimately it's sort of like, yeah, we'll sort of see how this plays for TNA. I'm less hopeful.
Laredo Kid.
Okay, that's fine. I'm less hopeful about their future right now, but I think the Mance Warner stuff does quell a little bit.
I mean, I just think TNA is not good. So that's with or without WWE. Like the WWE people interest me more because they're in a different field than if they were in NXT. Like Fraxium versus the Nemets is oddly interesting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Core J versus Hyan happened. Like that's
TNA talent Hyan.
They should sign her. She's good.
I agree.
Again, this is the additions this company should be making. Like, yes, they're gonna go more towards WWE. I get it, because that's who they're trying to bring in now. But the Mance Warners, like the indie wrestlers that are good, you should be adding because you just lost so many.
They could actually have signed Hyan, and they just haven't announced it yet because her taping hasn't aired yet.
That'd be cool. Her versus Core Jade. I mean,
we'll find out. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I mean, they're building Core Jade up for Masha. I know. So
great.
All right. Let's see how much magic Masha really has.
Yeah. Speaking of bad, GCW, Hammerstein Show, the people versus GCW. Hammerstein Ballroom, 1,700 in attendance. They touted right beforehand that they beat every individual night of AEW in Hammerstein. Not directly, but informally said that they beat every single
style.
Yeah, they beat every single individual night of AEW, and
over the past 2 months or something.
Yeah, and as an
I would too if I handed out tickets.
Those kind of yeah, there's that issue of they handed out tickets at this AEW tapings, and they handed out a bunch of tickets. And there's a lot of pictures of Brett Lauderdale doing that right beforehand for this show. So you have to imagine, just think about how many fucking comps were in here. And Scotty, I'll tell you, there must have been a crap ton of comps because a lot of the GCW faithful were not sticking around for the main event.
Would you?
No, this show was so long and also bad. And also, there was also a big reason why it got extended to its length.
Yeah,
we'll talk about in a moment.
Did you give a dud?
No.
You don't give duds. Damn.
No, I gave 3. I gave 4 1-star or lower matches.
That's pretty much a dud for Ryan.
To be fair, 3 of them were Matt Cardona. 3 of them were the Matt Cardona ones. But I'll talk about the main event.
Okay. Don't review it match by match.
I'm not even going to read match by match. But the thing is like they gave out probably so many comps and the show was so long that by the time the main event happened, Scotty, there was like no one in the crowd. There was that balcony, that first balcony thing, almost
empty,
completely empty. Just an incredibly bad look. And to tout, attendance figures very proudly, saying that we beat AEW, even though not year over year, but Hammerstein over Hammerstein, you have less people in attendance. If you gave out that many comps, Scotty, you lost money. Especially with how many fucking people are on the Battle Royal to begin with in the preview show, whatever. And then, AEW had 3 nights or 3 tapings. I don't know if it was 3 nights or 2 nights, but either way, if you combine all of them, destroyed GCW here. But I'm not going to do that either, because WWE does that with their WrestleManias against AEW, and I think that's bullshit. So I'm not going to do that here. But ultimately, the bigger thing to me is that 2 years later, they sold less tickets and supposedly way more comps. And I think that's a really bad look. And speaking of bad looks, the main event was really bad. There was no one in the crowd. No one in the crowd cared, because the people that stayed around were the only GCW faithful left in attendance, supposedly, after what was essentially a 6-hour show. I went 1.5 stars on the main event, Scotty. 1.5 stars. Effie versus Mance Warner. 20 minutes, basically. A very bad match with a completely dead crowd. That the match simply does not work. Just abysmal. Just an abysmal, like such a bad showing. And I want to be clear here. When I say bad in this moment for the main event, Scotty, I didn't come off angry about how bad it was. I didn't come off very like flippant or like it was bad, whatever. Who cares about this, right?
Sure.
It was bad in a sad way. This was supposed to be a feel-good moment for Effie and GCW and this company. And instead, you have an empty crowd as soon as the bell rings for the main event to end, begins piling out of the building because they've been stuck there for 6 hours. And Effie just celebrating like he just achieved his dreams in front of a completely silent crowd that is piling out of an already pretty much empty building. It was they did like a crane shot to showcase like Effie in the ring, celebrating, cheering, with everyone piling out of the arena in droves. And it was just like this. We did all of this Hammerstein nonsense of we're going to run it back. We're going to prove to everyone that the first show was a fluke and that this one we're going to kill it. We're going to dunk on AEW and Tony Khan in a podcast to put over our next world champion, right? And we're going to give out comp tickets to fill up this arena as much as possible. 6 hours later, which would have been, I guess, 5 hours later originally, they do this match, which is a bad match, and then no one there, practically anybody, gives a shit about it. It's bad in the sense that it is sad to watch. The fact that people sit here and be like, this is the number 3 promotion or whatever, similar sense, I guess, of TNA and all that stuff.
They're not even 5, buddy.
They're not even, it was sad to watch. All the hype that you and I dunked on with the Hammerstein show 2 years ago, where it was like laughably bad. This was just like, this was depressing. This was the depressing show to watch. I thought this match was bad. Obviously, the Effie Alley Cat
I watched
match,
2 matches.
Yeah, sure. What were the matches?
I watched the ladder match. Thought that was pretty fun.
The opening ladder match.
That
DLC,
felt dangerous.
The DLC match.
Felt dangerous.
That was my favorite match of the entire night. Was that?
Yeah,
match.
and I watched old Baron Corbin.
Tom Pestock.
I don't think the work they did was bad. The crowd just didn't care. So
okay. I agree with that same sentiment. And I thought the DLC match was the best match on the show. I thought it was legitimately fun and dangerous and very good.
I watched that. I was like, I'm good. I don't need to watch anything else.
But the main event was sad. The Alley Catch thing obviously was extremely sad in a different way.
Effie could have had 2 duds in one night.
Yeah, that's fair. But
very sad.
After basically 5 minutes, Alley Catch breaks her leg and it's going to be out for. horrendous. Like one of those like Sid,
Yeah.
Dante Martin leg breaks where it's just you see it and you're like you see her react to her leg. Like it's like it's the Sid thing, right? If you've ever seen the Sid picture, he's like arms outstretched, eyes wide open, like holy shit, what am I looking at? Alley Catch has sort of that moment,
sad.
And it's incredibly sad that happened to her, and I feel really bad that happened to her because that's awful. That is an awful, and
it is awful.
You say that Effie could have had 2 duds in one night, totally fair. That could also be true, but I also could have suspected that.
That would probably be the better match, right?
I think that could have also thrown Effie off in the main event. I think that match had a chance.
Without a doubt.
Effie Alley Catch had a chance.
That's his friend.
Yeah. Effie and Alley Catch had a chance to actually being a legitimately good match just because of their friends, and they can probably put together and trust each other enough to put together a good match. I agree. More likely it does, but you get what I'm saying. That they could have done something because they trust each other and their friends, and they could have done something. The main event could have been better because Effie could have had a better mindset and all these sort of things.
I saw the picture. Like that was the first thing I saw that night. I was like, oh man. Like not only is it a bummer because obviously it's an injury, but like this is biggest show, biggest match of her career, essentially. It was a real shame.
Yeah. I thought Masato Tanaka versus Joey Janela I gave it a 2. I thought it was just fine and extremely boring. A lot of like hardcore spots that just like, well, it was also like, it was just a lot of hardcore spots that the crowd was not responding to in any way because the crowd at this point was starting to die and leave the building. So that didn't work. All of the Matt Cardona stuff was extremely bad, garbage stuff. Open challenge against a no-name guy. No one in the audience has a single idea who this Tommy Invincible is. Terrible look. And the crowd even chants, "Who are you?" to Tommy Invincible. Just like incredibly bad stuff. Then you get him versus Microman for some reason. And then you get Jimmy Lloyd for some reason turning on Matt Cardona and winning another 2-minute match. The whole thing just a fucking waste of time. If you thought
there were 3 Matt Cardona matches, and you were like, "Huh?"
Scotty, if you thought Matt Cardona versus Chris Jericho was bad, you have not seen this segment. This was atrocious.
I never saw Chris Jericho versus Matt Cardona.
So. I know you never did, but you know what I'm saying. I thought
I'm a big Matt Cardona guy.
If I had to give positives, to be fair, like we said, the DLC match, the opening was good. I really surprisingly enjoyed the 6-man tag team match of Griffin McCoy, Kerry Morton, Tony Deppen versus Homicide Grim Reaper and Amazing Red. It wasn't great, but the cage match has it like as a 4.03, and I think I went 3 on it. So I'm not saying it's like a great match or anything, but a lot of people
show it is.
Yeah, a lot of people rated it poorly because this was the match that had to wait after the Alley Catch commission and the commission waiting. And they were in the ring and before they started calling, we're on a hold because of the commission. So they had to wait around.
This is the second time this has happened to them?
I think it has. But they had to wait around, cut promos on each other constantly for basically 30 minutes to an hour, whatever it was. But I say it was a good match. So the reason it's getting dunked on for cage match is because of all that and just losing momentum completely. But I say it was a good match because if you're me and didn't watch it live and you skipped all the way to the match starting, it ended up being a good match because you weren't annoyed by anything. Yeah, I mean the ECW people coming in was fine. I thought they had good connections there. This was a sad promotion, and this being the sort of build as a company that's trying to prove itself again after the failure of the Hammerstein Ballroom the first time. Again, this is New York, by the way, so they can't even do blood or glass or any of that stuff, which is so GCW that it doesn't make sense why they keep running this building. But it felt like a good moment last year and ended up being horrendously bad, and no one enjoyed it. And here they tried again, Scotty, and I think they utterly failed in a worse, sadder way. It's just like, I don't understand. I don't know what the GCW fan reaction to the show was, but I mean, at a certain point, you guys start questioning, what are we doing here? Like, what is the point of this? What are we doing with this
GCW
company?
At its core is not good.
I will give them the praise here that this felt more GCW than the last Hammerstein show. But if this is more core GCW, this was bad.
Yeah.
This was aggressively bad. In a sad, extremely sad way.
Here's my overall take on the two matches I watched and everything else. Feel awful for Alley Catch. Obviously, get well soon.
Yeah.
Anytime you see one of those leg snaps, you're just like, oh man, this is bad. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of the wrestler or not. Like, this is a human being. Like, at the end of the day, like, the human being just doing their job, and this freakish thing. And it wasn't even like this crazy thing. It was just a suicide dive, correct?
Yeah.
So bummer for her. Get well soon. I am
oddly, I like you said, the suicide dive isn't a crazy thing. It's pretty crazy
in current day wrestling.
Sure.
But to be fair, like compared to Sid, I am oddly interested in Baron Corbin moving forward.
I am
despite
too.
The match being whatever.
Yeah.
That's how I feel just about Bloodsport. So
I think if that match was at Bloodsport proper, it would have been received better.
Yeah. He's also like very determined. He did a Chris Van Vliet interview this week, and he just sounded like he is the opposite of what I expected him to be. He's like, oh, I'm going to work all around the world for the next couple of years. And I was like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
I was like, shit, that NXT run re-inspired this guy, because before that, he wouldn't. I thought he was going to go down the Braun Strowman route, but he's got a new nickname. He's got thought into it.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. Any guy that wants to recreate themselves, I am very much going to give a chance to. And I'm fascinated to see how it goes. He's going to go to New Japan. He said he wants to go. New Japan absolutely is going to be interested, and he might work way better than at least Matt Riddle. But I think he'll work better than Nick Nemeth if he's committing himself to it. That's what it comes down to. I'm not saying you don't start putting him against like the top guys, but like have him be around, start on the strong shows, and build from there. Not New Japan proper. Do strong shows first, I think would be smart.
Yeah, I don't want to see him coming in beating Yota Tsuji and
right.
And
I don't want him
to Tanahashi.
exactly. Like I'd rather just see him start off on a strong show in a tag match, right? Yeah. Baby steps. So I'm interested in him, and like I said, the DLC match was fun. So
yeah, it was legitimately. If I was to recommend anything, it's that match. Yeah. It's one of these shows of like, I'm never even going to, if they even go back to Hammerstein or have like one of these big shows, Scotty, I'm never going to pitch it to you again. And I understand that like I was moving this sort of as a bit of like, yeah, let's watch the Hammerstein show and review it, knowing that's going to be bad. This is a different level of bad. And the only exciting match that they set up after this, Scotty, is Spring Break 9 in Las Vegas. Joey Janela versus Sabu. Why do I say it like that? In his retirement match, supposedly, a 60-year-old man. So get ready to see Joey Janela versus a 60-year-old man WrestleMania weekend.
So I need to stress something here because we're in that time where all the WrestleMania week shows are coming out.
Yeah.
DPW, Prestige, and West Coast doing this year and doing their own little like version of the Collective have already slapped around the Collective. It's those three promotions doing a show, and then DRAGONGATE as part of that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. If we have another ETU show, I'm excited for that.
They have two more shows on that thing. So.
If they do another show similar to the Dean show, I don't know who. I guess Action promotes it or whatever. I don't know who properly promotes it, but I assume Action or H2O or somebody. But if they do another probably like Dean show like that, I would be interested in that. I mean, the March Hitchcock Super Show, always going to be interested in it. It wasn't that good last year, but always going to be interested in it, you know? Yeah. But like GCW is just like any of the collective stuff. Like I'll probably check out stuff here and there, but it is, DPW is, Deadlock is throwing them around, it feels like.
For sure. So yeah, I'm interested to see like where everything goes in the WrestleMania time. That's far away. Let's move on to whatever is next.
Deadlock Pro. You brought it up, so there's a perfect transition. You already know what we're going to talk about and what's next.
Something about titles tonight.
Deadlock Pro, you already know. Taped in January 17th, but aired on the 21st last week. 300 in the Ridgefield Park, New Jersey.
Fascinating building.
Yeah, fascinating building indeed. The show itself was Miracle Generation defeating Diego Hill and Ichiban. Queen Aminata replacing Trisha Dora. So we were right that Trisha Dora was not going to make it. Queen Aminata came in here to defeat Kylie Ray. AEW versus a WWE ID talent, by the way. Adam Priest defeats Manders in a national title eliminator. Kevin Blackwood defeats Tyus Alexander, national title eliminator. Trevor Lee and mystery opponent Calvin Tankman returns to the company, defeating Andrew Everett and BK Westbrook. LeBron Cazone defeats Starboy Charlie for the DPW national title, or to retain it. And Jake Something retains his world title against Ace Austin. They did a nice little thing here, but I didn't think about it in the preview at all, where it's two guys that don't have their tag partners, which I thought was like that makes sense why this match was booked. But overall, what do you think? First time really diving into the Deadlock Pro universe, as it were. What do you think of the show?
First time diving in since Lucky Ali and Jay Malachi left, which was a long time ago now.
Yeah.
I had fun with it. I had a fun show. Some people stood out to me a bit more than others, like Diego Hill. I thought was really good.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, this guy is good. I liked him and Ichiban actually as a duo. I thought the Miracle Generation. I thought they were good too. I thought that was a good opener. I think it was my second favorite match of the show, tied for second.
There's something about Dustin Waller that I enjoy.
Yeah. I thought Kylan Kings was a guy that I was like, he's gonna get signed in a couple of years. Sure. Like just the size and athleticism. But I liked them as a team. I was like, okay, I could be into this. Though I think is Dustin Waller the guy that I was like Adam Cole and Anthony Green had a kid.
Yes.
And it's this guy, which I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's what happened.
Yeah. When I look at Dustin Waller, he screams retrosexual baby to
me. I really liked Adam Priest versus Steven. So the joke is, I'm going to tell you now, I don't like the name One Called Manders.
That's fair.
I'm now calling him all caps Steven moving forward.
Why Steven?
This is my gimmick because that's his name.
His name is Steven Manders.
His name is Steve Manders, but his true shoot name is Steven Manders. So yeah, you're Steven now. All caps Steven. This guy rocks, man. Like this match was terrifyingly dangerous sometimes. Like he got spiked on his head by Adam Priest one time. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
I love Adam Priest too.
I love it. I think Adam Priest is great. I think Steven's great. Steven's the type of guy I was like, just get him into like All Japan.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like, get him into the champion card.
Rising Hayato versus Rising Steven.
Yeah. So I'm just letting everyone know when I talk about One Called Manders moving forward, he's Steven.
Steven versus Dan Tamura.
Steven versus Shuji Ishikawa. Steven versus Kento would be so good.
Yeah. Just
because that's whatever. I think Calvin Tankman's awesome. Yeah. I already thought that before this, but I just want to say it again.
I really enjoyed the Andrew Everett Trevor Lee stuff. And the match ended in
it was really long.
It was a long match and it ended seemingly in a knockout, like a shoot knockout. Yeah. So that wasn't great. But I love Trevor Lee's reaction to it of like, you count it, raise my hand, like yelling at the referee.
He's good at that.
Really enjoyed what Trevor Lee was doing
very
here.
Good. I love Kozone. I love him. Like, I think had he who was he originally facing?
He was originally facing what the frick was he originally facing? I don't remember. I remember I was more excited for it than this match.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember at all.
I'll see if I can look it up. But go on.
But I like him. I just like his presence. I like his personality. I think there's an excitement level to him as he's facing Leon Slater. Yeah, I was very into
I would have loved that match way more.
Yeah. But I still thought it was a well done. Like, he hit a choke bomb with such impact on. I don't really like Starlight Charlie.
Me neither.
So, but I still think he got the most he could out of this. I thought it was a pretty good match. But I like Kozone. Like, this is a guy that I like a lot. I'm excited to see him now against Titus Alexander tonight, for example. Like, that's a matchup I'm into.
Kevin Blackwood versus Adam Priest. Whew.
Yeah.
That's a Ryan Icey special.
That is a Ryan Icey special. And then the main event, I thought Jake Something and Ace Austin had a solid match. So.
Yeah, I thought the entire show was really good. I think that first hour,
it was breezy.
That first hour of so, I thought was really solid. And then the latter half of the title matches and all that stuff was a little bit disappointing, but nothing necessarily bad. I don't think anything on here was bad. I don't think necessarily anything on here was like fully certifiably great.
Sure.
But here's the things I liked. I liked the roster a lot. Because everything I pretty much gave like 3.25, 3.5, like constantly throughout the show. I think they have a great roster. I was able to follow all of the storytelling, which meant that the commentary was really good. I enjoy the backstage sort of promo segments that they do. They feel very old school Ring of Honor. And I like what they're doing. I think they have a great roster of talent. I like their promos. I like the commentary team. Of Caprice Coleman, Rich Bocchini, and Veda Scott. I'm not a big Veda Scott fan. I've made that clear on the show previously. But I think her being a third man compared to those two is a good spot for her. Yeah. I liked all of this. I legitimately liked all of this. I would 100% continue watching DPW as long as you're still down watching DPW, Scotty.
Yeah, it was a good first dive in, which all I'm looking for was a simple, non rude show, if that makes sense. Like, I wasn't offended, which was nice after the other shows that
I would have loved for this to have been great, but I'm so happy that this was like really good.
It helps that they have a show tonight, so it's like right back into it type thing.
Yeah, they have a show. They have a show tonight. Title fight in Texas and Campbell Hall in Pasadena, Texas. Show is tonight. Doors open. Bell time 6 p.m. I should say. Again, this is probably being a taping. This is not live, so they will air this. They might air it later in the week for all we know. Undoubtedly, Scotty, next week is where they're going to air it. But if they're anything like you already know, the previous show, then they may air it a little bit earlier. But the show itself is. What we know is Adam Priest versus Kevin Blackwood, national title eliminator. The winner of that will face LeBron Cazone or Titus Alexander. Actually, no, not even or Titus Alexander, because that match isn't a title match. It's a proving ground match. If Titus Alexander gets the win, then he will have a match against LeBron Cazone. So we will see what happens there. But Adam Priest, former champion, lost the title to Cazone at third anniversary. Versus Kevin Blackwood. Winner of that will face Cazone at some future date. If Titus Alexander can beat Cazone in a match, he will also get a match at a future date. Grizzled Young Veterans versus Arez and Latigo in a special tag team match. I don't know what to think about this match, Scotty, but I'm interested in it. DPW World Tag Team title match, Violence is Forever versus Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. I'm into it. DPW Women's World Title, Miyuki Takase versus Danny Luna. And the DPW World Championship, a last man standing match, Jake Something and Calvin Tankman. This looks like a great card. Scotty, what are your thoughts?
Should be a good show. It should be a good show. It should be one that I think will again keep us kind of rolling. I like Takase versus Luna.
What do I need to know about Miyuki Takase? I obviously can't really speak on the Deadlock Pro side of things, but in terms of the Joshi side, what do I need to know about Takase?
She's gonna lose. Great tag wrestler. Great tag wrestler. 2 or 3 years ago, she was one of the best in the world. I thought in Joshi, she's taken a step back since then, but she still could put on a good match, good chops, good forearms. the problem, truthfully, the problem for her was Sari came back because like she had a very similar style, and Sari just does it better. But her and Dani Luna should be good. Like she is someone that is good. I just think Takasa's losing because she can't come back around a lot. She does a lot of dates, so I'm gonna guess they give Dani the title here. But yeah, it should be better than the women's match on the last show. I like the Jet Setters being on here. That was a good pop for me when I saw that announced. I was like, "Ooh, that's fun. I love the Jet Setters." And since I never get them to win titles, I want them to win the belts here.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Certainly fun.
Well, they do get titles. They just lose them.
Yeah, but I like Violence is Forever a lot. So them versus IJS, which is a phrase I've never said, IJS, but feels wrong saying it. It is interesting. Jake Something versus Tankman, that moves me. Like most of this card moves me, Scotty. I'm very excited to watch this. Hopefully, we'll be able to review it by time next episode for Ring Post Radio.
That'd be great. It would be really great. I don't know if we will because I don't think they announce it ahead. They don't announce it ahead of time, right? Like
when they're going to air the show.
Because they did last time. I guess they moved it up. So we'll see.
Yeah. So, yeah, we will certainly see what happens there. All right, final little review here. Appreciate everybody for sticking around. This is Dragon Gate, Gate of Bayside. Big-time show here in the Yokohama Budokan. 2,000 in attendance for Dragon Gate here. I think this is the first show in the Budokan this year in Japan.
Yeah. At least the second ever.
Yeah, last year they had 2,100 for Dangerous Gate. And if you want to go year over year, they had 2,086 in the Budokan for this show. And for this show, they had 2,098. So they grew by like 1%. They grew by like 18 people or whatever, but they did grow year over year. So I think that's solid. Card here was Natural Vibes defeating Gold Class in the opener. Ultimate 10-man tag team match. Hyo, Naruki Doi, Suji Kondo, Ultima Dragon, and Toru Owashi defeat Don Fuji, Genki Horiguchi, Luis Monte, Yasushi Kanda, and Sayachiko Hoko Boy. However you pronounce that.
Jesus.
I have no idea. Over the Awara Gate, Takashi Yoshida defeat Kukutaro. Captain Fall 6-man elimination match. The team of Mochizuki Dojo defeat Z-Brats to retain the fact that Mochizuki Dojo can exist longer. Masato Tanaka defeats Kai in a hardcore match in his own hometown. Kai's hometown, should be specific. Paradox defend their titles successfully against D-Courage. Z-Brats defeat Gold Class to retain the Twin Gate title matches. Open the Twin Gate titles. And Yamato defeats Strong Machine J in the main event. The Open the Dream Gate title. Scotty, what are your thoughts on this show?
A good overall show. From what I watched most of it. By the way, I meant to tell you, I almost forgot to just watch Nemeth and Hendry. Like I realized last night, I just never finished the full show. I was like, oh shit, I gotta watch that. Anyways, I did watch most of this show except for like one or two matches. You can figure out which ones.
The match
I thought
I'm prepared to bury.
Yes. I thought the Triangle Gate match was very good. I thought the main event was very good. I thought the tag match was good. It was just mostly like the second half of the show I thought was good. Just very solid. Yes.
I thought the show had a good way of elevating. I think every match got better and better.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I really liked the Triangle Gate match, which is just normal for me when I watch these shows. And then Yamato's probably the best running world champion right now in wrestling. I just think he is so good, and the way he closes his matches are really good.
How dare you say that about Joe Hendry, but continue.
I'll say it again about Joe Hendry. He stinks. Unlike Yamato, who's great. But I'm looking forward to more from Dragon Gate. I did tell one of my friends who got me into it. I was like, can they like dim the lights in this building? I hate this. Like, I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, why is it like this? And he was like, I have no idea. Like the first time they did it, they kept them on. I was like, it looks wrong.
Yeah,
like
it looks
like
so
it's not.
weird.
I was like, they just dim them. Like I don't even need them off.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so bright. Like I felt like we were watching like a non-Yokohama show, you know, because it was weird. But yeah, it was a good show. I have no complaints.
I really like the Twin Gate titles.
I didn't watch the bad match, by the way.
Yeah, I really like the Twin Gate title match. I realized during the show and from all my previous Dragon Gate parachuting in, I really like Jackie Kabay.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I really like that guy. He is probably one of my favorite guys on this roster. I am realizing that in real time that every time I see him, like he's great. He's awesome. I really enjoy him. I'll opening match, opening card stuff was whatever. Strong Machine J and Yamato was really, really good. I really like Strong Machine J as well. And Yamato's obviously great, but I really like Strong Machine J right now. Yamato having sort of like a career resurgence, to my understanding. The Owari Gate, I texted you immediately after I record this. How do I close the Owari Gate? This shit was awful. So bad, Scotty. Like, I was reading a preview on the Voice of Wrestling website because they have like those Dragon Gate guys that do previews and reviews and stuff. I think it was Mike Spears that wrote it. That he said that like the last Open the Warrior Gate title match with Yoshida was like so bad we don't discuss it. And I was like, then what are we discussing with this one? This match was awful. And the premise of this title belt, by the way, Scotty, is that it is a comedy division. But the premise of this is that the winner is not whoever gets the fall. The winner is whoever at the end of the match entertained the crowd the most, and is decided by crowd applause. So at the end of the match, they then turn to the crowd, and the crowd does a applause to indicate who they think should win and who are they entertained more by. I despise this match. It didn't anger me fully, but I truly did not like it. I thought it was really, really, really bad. I think I went a quarter star.
I don't watch Kikutaro.
Yeah, I don't want to ever again. I think in that sense, like as somebody that like we're committing, same thing of Deadlock to committing to watching more Dragon Gate, I think that this wasn't the best foot forward overall for me. I think there are probably better Yamato title matches in 2024. The Owari Gate match was horrendous, and I never want to see that again. And I think overall the show was like a fine, solid show, but I get the impression that there were better shows in past years or even better title matches in past months.
I mean, I watched their Cork, and that was a better show.
I plan on watching the Kurikan because I was going to watch it beforehand, and I just lost the time watching GCW for 6 hours. But I plan
very good matches.
I plan on watching that entire Kurikan. So I'll get a better understanding there. But for right now, I'm still interested in watching Dragon Gate. Like I just said, I'm going to plan on going back and watch that Kurikan. But I don't. I get the impression that this wasn't the best first impression that they could have given me.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly, willing to hear.
I kind of feel the same about both shows that we watched for the new promotion. So like for me, they're like the same.
Yeah, not the best first impression, but it wasn't
good
awful.
Enough.
No. Yeah, doesn't live up to what we've been sort of told, but good enough to like. I'll keep watching. I'll keep watching.
Yeah. Because I know like they have good. They have a good plan, I'm sure, and as long as you don't have a fucking GCW show, I'm probably gonna give you multiple chances.
Yeah.
We give TNA chances. TNA has worse shows. I thought TNA show was worse than both of these. In terms of it be like they had probably the highest high match wise.
TNA.
Yeah, but like it's still TNA. So yeah, it's fascinating, but I'm excited to keep watching, which is good.
I actually have, I track my full major show ratings. Do you want to know how all the shows reviewed, what I'm ranking them?
Yes.
Number one, this is not overall with everything else. This is just the shows we reviewed today. Genesis. I know you just said it's below, but Genesis, DPW, you already know. Main Event, Dragon Gate, Gate of Bayside, and then the GCW Hammerstein show. And then a big golf, and then the Hammerstein show.
That's fair.
I agree. Fair. I think Genesis had like maybe a lower middle, a lower average, but a higher ceiling. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Dragon Gate had like one horrendous match, and then like a lot of like.
And I didn't watch that, so it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, and it affected.
I knew what not to watch.
Yes, and I wanted to watch it to know the gulf of the promotion, right? I want to know get an understanding of what's happening in the promotion, and knowing that there's a division built around comedy that features the worst comedy bullshit that I've ever seen in my life. Makes me understand Dragon Gate a little more and know, okay, yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. That's awful. That was horrendous. So yeah, I think it was these were good first steps for us, and I'm interested seeing moving forward. Do we know when the next big Dragon Gate show is?
They have Corkin coming up.
Okay.
So that would probably be the next one that we might want to hit on, I think.
Do we know when that Corkin is? Are you pulling that up?
Yeah, I got it. February 5th.
They've
announced the main event already.
What is the main event?
Special 6-man tag will be Ben K, Strong Machine J, and Hip Hop Kakuta versus Yamato.
What?
Versus Yamato, Shun Skywalker, and Kota Minoura.
Yes, this was
fascinated.
That
was the Rewa guys?
Yes. That was the end segment of the show, which was Kakuta like trying to quell up all the young Rewa guys to be like, we're the next thing, let's do something here. So that's a continuation of that. I don't know if I'm a big fan of building that around Kakuta, because when he was champion, this company really disinterested a lot of people. So I don't know about that, but we'll see. I guess we'll see.
I just like Yamato teaming with Shun. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating 6-man.
That's where they're going, by the way.
You said Shun Ben K. You said Ben K and then Strong Machine J, and I said, wait a second. And then then when you said Kakuta, I was like, I see, it's the 6-man thing.
Yeah, Ben K's awesome.
Yeah, I enjoy Ben K.
I'm into it. I think that'll be a good match.
I agree.
For sure. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but that'll be the next one we might hit on just a little bit, probably just like brief, but yeah, that's it.
February 5th. That's about a week and a half away, so we'll talk about that more. Well, yeah, that is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Very long show. I appreciate everybody for sticking with us throughout all of this. Hope you enjoyed our reviews and previews. We'll be back next week for a lot more talking Royal Rumble. We got some Road to New Beginning shows from New Japan that have a couple title matches. I guess we have that Corkin to talk about for Dragon Gate. And I guess we'll discuss anything else that happens in the world of professional wrestling. Scotty, give us your match of the week. Give us some plugs.
Yeah, match of the week. Sari versus Mako Satomura from Sariism Chapter 6. The best Sariism show to date. The semi-main was also great. The opener was very, very good. Very good show. Plugs. YouTube.com/@ScottEatWrestling. I am slowly but surely starting to put together a guide for both Marigold and Stardom. Stardom should be out sometime this week, but that's a lot longer of a video. So I said Monday or Tuesday. There's fucking no chance I get it done today. So it's a matter of maybe Tuesday. If not, maybe we'll just push it to Wednesday. But I'm planning to get that out this week, and then the Marigold one the week after. And then I have some other stuff coming up on there. I don't have any other plugs besides that. So thank you, everybody.
My match of the week is Scotty. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. This was my match of the week. And maybe it's an overrating, but I'm going for it. 4 stars. Hurt Business versus Private Party on Dynamite. I love that match. You haven't seen it? Oh my God, Scotty!
I haven't seen Dynamite.
I understand that yeah, you said that earlier.
I watched 5 minutes and fell asleep. That wasn't a bad thing on Dynamite. It was I sat down, was comfortable, and I was lights out.
Please understand that I am undoubtedly overrating the match, probably. I thought it was great. Legitimately great match. Great tag title match. Great decision to put the titles on Hurt Business. I thought Private Party looked great in defeat.
We hurt people.
Like, just in terms of, going out there and putting on a great performance. All 4 of these guys nailed it. Maybe 5 if you want to include MVP.
1, 2.
Legitimately great. Legitimately a great match. And I was shocked how much I enjoyed this. But hey, hurt people. And the Hurt Business certainly hurt these two.
People.
Hurt Business, a great act. I'm glad they pivoted titles to a hot act in this company. So we'll see where this goes for, I guess, both tag teams, but especially Hurt Business down the line.
I obviously haven't watched any AEW this week. Boy, oh boy, people are talking about it up and down on my feed. I can never grasp like if anything's a good show. Actually, no, everyone likes Collision. Yeah. Everyone liked Collision last night, but I can never grasp if Dynamite was good or not because it ends on a sour note every fucking week.
Yeah.
It seems like. So everyone's like,
Dynamite was a tale of two shows where the first hour I thought was extremely hot, and then the last hour was like dying. It was just slowly dying, and then the main event was like, oh, the crowd's completely dead. And then the main event segment, the Death Riders come out to silence. I'm like, oh my God. So it was real rough.
Crazy Steve was on this show. Oh
yeah, dark match. Crazy Steve showed up, and I was like, I saw that too.
Holy shit!
I was like, what is he doing here? What's Crazy Steve getting a look? Crazy Steve getting a look on TV for AEW. Do you think where do you think Crazy Steve will fit in the AEW universe?
Ring of Honor. Everyone's Ring of Honor, man.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's funny.
We'll see what happens. I think it was, Hassan Albani brings up a good point in the chat, where Collision had no Death Riders, Cope or Jericho. Completely accurate. Had none of them. I mean, it had Big Bill, but he was just
but
he had a really great angle with Hobbs, I thought.
People just love Adam Cole. What can we say?
Yeah. Oh, the Adam Cole match, I thought.
I heard they were good.
The Trios match was really good. You had the return of Timeless Tony Storm, which I know some people ask us super early on. Matthew Rodriguez thought on the Mariah May and Tony Storm segment. I assume you didn't watch it, Scotty?
I saw that she stripped.
Yeah, she did strip down.
Revealed Timeless Tony. That's what she did. And I was like, oh, okay, so she was acting. That makes sense.
She took off her Tony Storm costume and put on her Timeless
and
Tony
she said,
Storm attire.
It was a performance of a lifetime. And I was like,
yes.
That's a funny bit. I'll give her that. Like,
people are loving the segment online. I'm a little confused by the explanation of revealing I was acting the entire time. It was the performance of a lifetime, and now I'm gonna beat you up. And I'm like, why? She didn't really explain why she did that.
Well, because she hates Mariah, I guess. I don't know.
But she hates Mariah. Why not just beat her up? But I think what it's supposed to be is that she wanted to be the rookie that loves Mariah May, like Mariah May did to Tony Storm back in the day.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm asking, but why? Why do any of that other than for this segment, for this story?
All I've seen, this is what I've seen about
they
the
didn't explain it well.
You know what I've seen about the segment?
What's that?
Why did you use something so important on Collision? And I was like, all right, let's not make this a thing.
I hate that complaint so much because they want you to watch Collision. Who gives a shit where it is?
Which, don't get me wrong, I'm shocked they want you to watch Collision too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But they do, and that's a good thing. This looks like a real Collision, like that I want to watch.
Yes, they want you to watch their television. Yeah. Why would they put good stuff on TV? I don't know. Because they want you to watch it.
I've decided I'm giving Tony a second chance as Timeless now that we have done.
I am as well. Because at the end of her reign, she was getting more of the work rating Tony Storm that we used to know.
Yeah, I will say I did like the whole like gimmick of I didn't watch it, but I saw like the reveal and I perform. I did like that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was executed really
but I
well.
didn't see anything before it, so I don't know how we got there.
I thought it was executed really well. I was just sort of left with like, but like, why would she do any of this?
Right.
Like, what she didn't explain why she did any of this.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't come in a future thing,
Right.
then I will bury this.
I also know it's her birthday today, so I want to shout out Mercedes Moné for putting in the call of getting Yuka Sakazaki involved for a week. I appreciate it.
Getting the call. Yuka Sakazaki doesn't work without a big paycheck. She's like, oh no, that ain't gonna work for me, brother.
AKA Sumi Sakai was like, Mercedes, can we please get her on? Mercedes like, watch.
Yeah.
And now she's on TV in a title match. All of a sudden, Mercedes Moné's power, man. Happy birthday to her. Collision looks.
Okay, so we hold on. We did WWE power hierarchy. Where is Moné, TK, Young Bucks, Omega? Like, where are all these guys? Moné feels,
buddy. TK's a lot lower than Triple H.
Yeah, that might be true. That feels true. It certainly feels true.
Yet he can't pivot.
Well, he can't pivot because there are people that have more power than him. as we're explaining here.
Maybe, or he's just a never mind. Power. So Mercedes Moné's here.
Yeah.
Because everything she wants, she gets. Rightfully so. She's a big star. I mean, fuck, she's giving Harley Cameron a title.
The problem is, which isn't really a problem because this is by the way what we all wanted when AEW was formed, is we wanted the wrestlers to have more power, and here we are.
We have it.
The top
Hurt Syndicate.
Top stars have a a lot of power. Mox,
the Hurt Syndicate, rightfully so. The Death Riders, unfortunately so.
Omega.
I just want to make this point on this podcast.
I think Osprey's below TK.
Oh, for sure. Osprey just does whatever they need. I just want to say this. For all the people that said, oh, I don't know about Bobby Lashley and Shelton and MVP. For all those people, they're the best part of the program every single fucking week. So pay some respect to the Hurt Syndicate because we hurt people. Thank you. I just want to give them my respect because I was always right. I said they were going to be good.
They got new merch. They got new merch. I don't know if you've seen the new merch.
I loved the picture you sent me of them wearing the hats with the belt. I thought that was great.
Were they wearing the yellow shirts in it as well?
No, they had no shirts on.
Okay, they came out to Hurt Syndicate hats, Hurt Syndicate yellow shirts.
Just a fucking team. Like they're a major league team.
Yeah.
I love the fight gear. It's like MMA fighters when they go to the ring, they wear a hat and a t-shirt. Like that's what they wear. I love that.
I love that they have suits and fight gear.
They're awesome. I love them. I'm gonna watch that match today. Go for it. I'm gonna also rate it overrated because I love them. I
say watch the first hour of Dynamite and then move on. Move on your life. I forget where we were at. I think we just wrapped the show. I don't know where we were here, but I think that's it. Thank you everybody for listening to us on Ring Post Radio. Follow us on all the socials. Patreon.com/CountOutPod. I'm going to be a guest on a podcast this week, but I don't know exactly when it comes out, so I'll plug it when it airs.
What podcast?
I'll let you know. I'll plug it once it happens.
Oh, you'll just tell me after the show. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll plug the actual thing when it actually happens because I don't know when it airs. I don't know because I think the guy does. It's like retro stuff, so I don't know how backloggy I am. How this is going to be, so we'll see.
Backloggy.
Speaking of backloggy, I need to go to the bathroom. That's it for Ring Post Radio. That's it for Ring Post Radio, y'all. Man. We'll talk to you all next time, same place.
They're never coming back after that. I don't blame them.
That's fair. Bye, everybody.